Hello everyone, সকলোকে স্বাগতম জনাইছোঁ। আকৌ এটা বৰিং সেশ্যন আপোনালোকৰ কাৰণে লৈ আনিছোঁ। আপোনালোকে মানে কি ক'ম আৰু কোনোটো ইণ্টাৰেষ্টিং বস্তুৱে নাই ইয়াতে, চাওক বা নাচাওক, আই ডোণ্ট হেভ এনি প্ৰব্লেম, বাট মোৰ কাৰণে এফেক্টিভ হয়, মোৰ কাৰণে ভাল আৰু প্ৰেক্টিচটো ভালে থাকে আৰু মোৰ এনেকৈ আৰু ন কনচিষ্টেঞ্চি মেইনটেইন হোৱা নিচিনা হয়। এইবিলাক ইৰেলিভেণ্ট টাইপটো নহয়, এইবিলাক ইম্পৰ্টেণ্টেই হয় কুৱেশ্যনবিলাক। আজিৰ কুৱেশ্যনটো অলপ টাফ হ'ব যেন লাগিছে, কাৰণ টাফ কুৱেশ্যন বিচাৰিছিলোঁ। যি নহয় চাওঁ বাৰু কি হয়, আৰু শেষত মই মোৰ সেইটো ভিডিঅ'ত মানে কি টেষ্টত কিমান মাৰ্কছ পাইছোঁ সেইটো মই কৈ দিওঁ। অ'কে, আপোনালোকৰ প্ৰিপাৰেশ্যন বা কেনেকুৱা চলিছে নাজানো, কিন্তু অলপ হপলেছ কিবা কিবি ফিল হৈ আছে কিজানি, মোৰো হৈ আছে অলপ চলপ, কিন্তু কি হ'ব, যদি আৰু অলপ পষ্টটো বঢ়াই দিয়ে তেতিয়া ভাল হ'ব চবৰে, অলপ কাট অফটো অলপ কমিব আৰু মানুহ বেছিকৈ কেইজনমান চাকৰি পাব আৰু নাজানো পাওঁ নাপাওঁ, তথাপি আৰু চেষ্টা কৰাত কাৰোতো একো ক্ষতি হ'ব নালাগে ন। অ'কে, আজি টেষ্ট নাম্বাৰ 5 ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিছোঁ। Consider the following regarding the administrative evolution of Assam under the British. Administrative evolution under British. Okay, the Chief Commissioner of Assam was carved out of the Bengal Presidency in 1874, primarily for administrative convenience and tea garden management. I think correct হ'ব লাগে 1874 ন, টি গাৰ্ডেন 1823 চাহ আৱিষ্কাৰ হৈছিলে ন, তাৰপিছত 1869 চাহৰ কি কৈছিলে কমাৰ্চিয়েলাইজেশ্যন হৈছিলে নে, কিবা ফেক্টৰী খুলিছিলে বোধহয়। 74 বোলে বেংগল প্ৰেচিডেঞ্চি কাৰ্ভড আউট কৰিছিলে ন, চিফ কমিশনাৰ অফ আছাম ৱাজ কাৰ্ভড আউট অফ বেংগলৰ পৰা হেৰি কৰা হৈছিলে, এতিয়া অনা হৈছিলে আছামত টি গাৰ্ডেন মেনেজমেণ্ট কাৰণে। এইটো কাৰেক্ট হ'ব লাগে। Kasar district was annexed through the doctrine of lapse. Yes, itu হ'ব লাগে। Following the death of the last ruler, Govind Chandra, 1832. তাৰিখবিলাক নাজানো, আৰু গোবিন্দ চন্দ্ৰটো কাছাৰৰে আছিলে ন, ৰজা আছিলে বোধহয়, কিবা কি ক'ব তাক, কছাৰী ৰজা। The Valley Lighthouse, the Assam Valley Lighthouse was a volunteer cavalry regiment meant for the protection of tea planters and civil authorities. Assam Valley Horse volunteer cavalry মানে তো মানে ঘোঁৰা অস্ত্ৰাৰোহী ন, regiment meant for the protection of tea planters and civil authorities. Assam Valley Lighthouse এইটো হৈ আছিলে নেকি, মানে চাহ খেতিয়কবিলাক আৰু কিবা কয় চিভিল অথৰিটিবিলাকৰ প্ৰটেকশ্যনৰ কাৰণে আছিলে নেকি ৰেজিমেণ্টটো, হ'ব লাগে। বহুত কিবা কিবি ঘটনা হ'ল, গোটেইকেইটা মানে অলপ জেনেৰেল কুৱেশ্যন আৰু ষ্টেটমেণ্ট। আই থিংক গোটেইকেইটা কাৰেক্ট হ'ব। ভি, য়েছ, এনেকৈ কৰিব লাগিব। চব বস্তুটো আমি মনতো ৰাখিব নোৱাৰোঁ না, এই মানে কি ক'ব তাক, কেছ ৱৰ্ক কৰাটো মানে ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট হয়, ৰিস্কো ল'ব লাগিব। All three statements are history-like right. 1874 split was largely driven by the expansion of the tea industry. The annexation of Kasur was a direct application of the doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse or direct বোলে হেৰি হয় ন, কাছাৰৰ annexation মানে কিবা এটা আৰু ন। And Assam Valley Lighthouse played a significant role in the colonial security apparatus for plantation regions. Okay. Question number 2. Regarding the successional and the relationship between the state legislature and কি আছিলে এডিচিৰ ফুল ফৰ্মটোকে নজনা হৈছোঁ, কাৰ্বি আংলং অট'নমাছ কাউন্সিল এনেকৈ আৰু কি ক'ব এতিয়া, এছ'চিয়েশ্যন অফ ডিষ্ট্ৰিক্ট কাউন্সিলছ, কি আছিলে ডিষ্ট্ৰিক্ট কাউন্সিল, চালা তাকে নাজানো, পাহৰি গ'লোঁ, চৰি হা। অ'কে, ইয়াৰ বস্তুটো ফুল ফৰ্মটো পাহৰি থাকিলোঁ, কি মাথা। অ'কে, একো নাই। relationship successful relationship আৰু yeah আমাৰ যিটো sorry autonomous district council sorry the state legislature has no power to amend the rules framed by an state legislature has no power to amend the rules framed by an autonomous district under paragraph 3 এইটো autonomous district council to হেল্প কৰিব পাৰে but state legislature has no power to amend the rules framed by an কাৰে কোৱা যেনো লাগে কিন্তু অলপ চলপ কিবা থাকিব পাৰে okay এইটো পিছত যি হ'ব দেখা যাব the governor can direct that a particular act of the Assam state legislature shall not apply to an autonomous district or shall apply with specified modifications can direct governor direct particular act of the Assam state legislature shall not apply to an autonomous district or shall apply with the itu hobo all funds received by an ADC are credited to the district fund and are not part of the consolidated fund of the state itu correct hobo na lage dei itu all dise na so they 1 and 2 correct hobo lage so I will go for 1 and 2 A sorry ভুল হৈ গ'ল মোৰ মানে বঢ়িয়া হেৰি কৰিছে আৰু এইটো মানে যি কৰা নাই বস্তুটো এইটো ষ্টেট লেজিসলেচাৰে হেৰি কৰিব নোৱাৰে বুলি কৈছে ন এইটো পাৰে বোলে ষ্টেট লেজিসলেচাৰে মানে অটোনমাস ডিস্ট্ৰিক্ট কাউন্সিলৰ মানে হেৰিবিলাক ৰুলছবিলাক হেৰি কৰিব পাৰে আমেণ্ড কৰিব পাৰে চেঞ্জ কৰাৰ মানে অধিকাৰ আছে আৰু 2 and 3 কাৰেক্ট হয় চ' ভাল লাগিছে কুৱেশ্যনটো বঢ়িয়াকৈ দিছে The governor can direct that a particular act of the Assam state legislature shall not apply to an autonomous district or shall apply with specified modifications. Okay, itu correct boleh. Governor modification guru pura or guru pura. Kuntu useful apa kuntu mana effective mana hai guru pura no rules bila act bila all funds received by an autonomous district council are credited to the district fund. District fund logot joma dia hoy no. So kora hoy. And are not part of the consolidated fund of the state or এইবিলাক state consolidated fundৰ মানে part নহয় এইটো বেলেগ ADCৰ ফাণ্ডটো ন okay গম পালোঁ because state legislature can in certain circumstances legislate on matter state override ADC rules if national or state integrity is at stake যেটো নেশ্যনেল ইণ্টিগ্ৰিটিৰ ওপৰত মানে হেৰি কৰিব পাৰে কিবা কয় অৰ ষ্টেট ইণ্টিগ্ৰিটিৰ ওপৰত কুৱেশ্যন আহে ন তেতিয়া লেজিসলেচাৰে হেৰি কৰিব পাৰে মেটাৰবিলাক ৰুলছবিলাক ADCৰ ডিস্ট্ৰিক্ট কাউন্সিলৰ অ'কে autonomous district council okay provisions for ADCs under the 6th schedule yes consider the following regarding 16th finance commission and local government finance আজি অলপ মানে মাথাটো অলপ কিবা খেলি মেলি লাগি আছে দেই এটা ফ্ৰেছনেছ ফিল কৰা নাই মই consider the following regarding the 16th finance commission and local government finance আৰু কুৱেশ্যনটো তাত আছে আজি 16th finance commission no the commission is mandated to review the state finance commission mandated to review state finance commission reports to standardize the criteria for local body grants ইমান এটা ভালকে ফিল কৰিব পৰা নাই বস্তুখিনি mandated কৈছে mandated মানে বাধ্য to review the state finance commission 16 finance commission state finance commission ko হেৰি কৰিব কাৰণে reports to standardize the criteria for local body grants হ'ব পাৰে দে হ'ব বুলি ধৰি ললো the formula for horizontal distribution of taxes includes forest and ecology as a significant widest factor horizontal distribution of taxes horizontal মানে horizontal or vertical distribution no horizontal to direct এইটো মানে ষ্টেটৰ পৰা শ্বেয়াৰ আছিলে নে মানে কিবা চেণ্টাৰৰ পৰা যেটো ভাগ আহে তো একোনে মানে সেপাৰেটকে পাহৰটো ভালকে মনত নাই আৰু দেই the formula for horizontal distribution of taxes includes forest and ecology as a significant weighted factor. The Commission's recommendations on tax devolution are binding on the Union government without further legislative enactment. The Commission's recommendations on tax devolution are binding on the Union government without further legislative enactment. To recommendation ল'ব লাগিব ন এইটো হ'ব লাগে এইটো তিনিটো না এনেকুৱা বাইণ্ডিং বুলি কৈছে বাইণ্ডিং formula or central legislation for a significant weighted factor আৰু এইটো কি কৈছে the commission is mandated to review the report situation to the culture of local body grants এইটো ওৱানটো হ'ব লাগে mandated local body grants local body to হ'ব লাগে গোটেইকেইটা কাৰেক্ট হোৱা যেন লাগি আছে না The Commission's recommendations on tax devolution are binding on the Union government without further. No, 3 to 1 1 and 2 only A. Yes, A is the correct answer. Okay, ইমান এটা মানে হেৰি নকৰোঁ নিজৰ হেৰিৰ কাৰণে কৰি যাওঁ আৰু ইমান বস্তুখিনি মই ভালকৈ নাজানো Finance Commission recommendations are advisory and must be accepted by the Union Cabinet and passed by Parliament to become effective. They are not inherently binding. Finance Commissioner যিটো recommendation আছে না advisory must be accepted by the Union Cabinet. Union Cabinet accept কৰিব লাগিব and passed by Parliament to become effective. They are not inherently binding. Okay, Finance Commissioner মানে Union Cabinet ওপৰত মানে এটা বাইণ্ডিং নহয় With reference to the Brahmaputra Board established under the Brahmaputra Board Act 980 Brahmaputra Board no it is a statutory body হয় না Brahmaputra Board to হ'ব পাৰে under the Ministry of Jal Shakti হ'ব লাগে to no its jurisdiction is restricted to the state of Assam only they are restricted কেনেকৈ restrict হ'ব no restricted to the state of Assam only কেনেকৈ restrict হ'ব এইটো নহয় অসমত এনেকৈ The board is primarily responsible for the preparation of master plans for flood management in entire northeast region. এইটো নহয় entire northeast regionত কেনেকুৱা হ'ব entire northeast region flood নহয়তো চবতে ন হিলি এৰিয়াগিলা আছে এইটোৰ কাৰণে নহ'ব এইটো ব্ৰহ্মপুত্ৰ ৰিজনৰ কাৰণে হ'ব ন so I don't think this is correct so its jurisdiction is restricted to the state of Assam only to 1 only or 2 only restricted to the state jurisdiction is restricted মানে এটা পুৰা নিষেধ কৰে না to the state I don't know means only 1A 1 and 3 হে কাৰেক্ট হ'ল ইমান পুঠা কুৱেশ্যন দিছে কিন্তু ভাল লাগছে এনেকুৱা কুৱেশ্যন টেট কাট দিব লাগে ইমান ইজি কুৱেশ্যন দিলে আৰু ক'ত হ'ব না 1 and 3 হে কাৰেক্ট বোলে It's a statutory body under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Okay. তো ভুলে থাকিলে ন The board is primarily responsible for the preparation মানে নৰ্থ ইষ্ট গোটেই নৰ্থ ইষ্টৰ ৰিজনৰ কাৰণে হয় ন ব্ৰহ্মপুত্ৰ বৰ্ডটো কিন্তু 2 নম্বৰটো হয় মই অলপ ভাবিছিলোঁ মানে কাৰেক্ট এনচাৰটো আহি গ'ল সেইটো মোৰ কিন্তু কি ক'ব আৰু না ইমান স্মাৰ্ট নহয় যে চব বস্তু অকস্মাত ভাবিব পাৰিম ভাল কৰি কোনটো হেৰি হ'ব acceptable হ'ব কোনটো নহ'ব The Assam Brahmaputra Board's jurisdiction covers the entire Brahmaputra and Barak River basin okay the jurisdiction restricted মানে নিষেধ কৰা নহয় মানে এটা হেৰিতে সীমিত হৈ থকা বুজিছে ন limited to the state of only restricted মানে restricted মানে পুৰা নিষেধ কৰি দিয়া বুলি ভাবিছিলোঁ তো ব্ৰহ্মপুত্ৰ বৰ্ডৰ জুৰিছডিকশ্যনটো ব্ৰহ্মপুত্ৰ বৰাক এৰিয়া চবতো গোটেই এণ্টায়াৰ কি ক'ব নৰ্থ ইষ্ট এৰিয়া কি কৈছে আদাৰ এণ্টায়াৰ ক'ব আদাৰ ষ্টেট আছাম ইনটু আদাৰ নৰ্থ ইষ্টাৰ্ণ ষ্টেটছ এণ্টায়াৰ বুলি ক'লেও হ'ব নেকি হয়তো এণ্টায়াৰ নৰ্থ ইষ্ট ৰিজন 3 নম্বৰত কৈছে consider Paul estimates of the external dharma to শংকৰদেৱৰ ন ইয়াতে বেলেগ ধৰণৰ দিছে ঠিক আছে it emphasizes নাম ধৰ্ম কিবা লাগিছিলে ডিভোশনেল চান্টিং না নামাজটা কিয় দিলে নামাজ পঢ়াটো নামাজটা দেখোন ইছলামবিলাকৰ হ'ব একো নাই devotional chanting over complex Vedic rituals ওপৰত complex Vedic ritualsৰ ওপৰত নাম ধৰ্ম কৰে নেকি that I don't think this is correct এইটো শ্ৰীকৃষ্ণৰ বেদিকৰ লগত ন হেৰি বেদাৰ হেৰিৰ ওপৰত নকৰে নহয় এইটো নহয় এইটো হ'ব নালাগে বেদৰ নীতি নিয়মৰ ন introduced the guru shishya tradition within the monastic Satra structure is its influence was restricted to the Brahmaputra Valley and didn't reach the hill tribes. Hill tribes or ভিতৰতো যোৱা নাই so এইটো কেনেকুৱা হতে কৰবা পাহাৰৰ মানুহ ট্ৰাইবত ফালে গৈছে নেকি হিল ট্ৰাইব মানে কি ক'ব দিলো হিলছৰ ট্ৰাইব মানে অসমতে আছে না ব্ৰহ্মপুত্ৰ ভেলীতে আছে হিলছ ট্ৰাইব নাগালেণ্ড মণিপুৰ ত্ৰিপুৰা এই লগতে যোৱা নাই না চ' ইটছ অ'কে অ'কে 2 and 3 are correct I will so 2 and 3 C ভুল হৈ থাকিলে বাহ কি কথা হ'লে নাজানো পাই ইমান এনেকুৱা কুৱেশ্যন না ভুল হ'ব লগা oh my god what a tough question it is নামাজ ধৰ্ম বোলে ডিভোশনেল চান্টিং তো জানো বাট অভাৰ কমপ্লেক্স বেদিক ৰিচুৱেলছ কমপ্লেক্স মানে জটিল বেদৰ নীতি নিয়মৰ ওপৰত কেনেকুৱা নাম ধৰ্ম শ্ৰীকৃষ্ণৰ জন্ম হেৰি ন জন্মৰ ওপৰত শ্ৰীকৃষ্ণৰ হেৰিৰ ওপৰত এনেকৈহে আছিলে বৈষ্ণৱ ধৰ্ম বিষ্ণু শ্ৰীকৃষ্ণ হৰি গুৰু শিষ্য ট্ৰেডিশ্যনে এটা মনাষ্টিক ছাত্ৰ গুৰু শিষ্যটো হয় এইটো কাৰেক্ট হয় এইটোতো কাৰেক্ট হয় Its inflow was restricted to the Brahmaputra Valley and they don't reach the hill tribes. এইটো মানে ৰেষ্ট্ৰিক্টেড বুলি নাই তো হিল ট্ৰাইবতো গৈছে আৰু মানে হিল ট্ৰাইবৰ লগতো প্ৰভাৱ পৰিছে মানে কৰিছে আৰু ন তো কি ক'ব তাক নাম ধৰ্ম কি ক'ব তাক একশৰণ নাম ধৰ্ম লৈছে কি ক'ব তাক শংকৰ গুৰু ধৰ্ম নে কি আছিলে okay the influence of Srimad Sankardeva's teachings transcended the valley significantly impacting various tribal groups and communities in the surrounding regions হয়তো সেইটো হ'ব লাগিছিলে কমন বস্তু ইমান এটা ভাল হেৰি হৈছিলে মানে ৱাইড স্প্ৰেড হৈ গৈছে ন আমাৰ অসমতো আৰু হিল ট্ৰাইবো থাকিব আমিওতো হিল ট্ৰাইবে বুলি ধৰিলোঁ কথাৰ কথা কিন্তু জাষ্ট নহয় আৰু কিছুমান আমাৰ ট্ৰাইবেলবিলাকো হিল ট্ৰাইবৰতো বহুতে পৰি যায় লোকেশ্যনৰ লগত হেৰি কৰে আৰু একো নাই ফুল হ'ল আৰু ন বহুত মানে ডিপ মানে ভাবিব লগা কুৱেশ্যন দি দিছে জানিব পাৰে আমি নাজানো ৰিগাৰ্ডিং দ্য আছাম ষ্টেট বায়'ডাইভাৰ্চিটি বৰ্ড biodiversity board to Assam State Biodiversity Board. It is a statutory body constituted under the Biological Diversity Act 2002. It actors the statutory body no. It was the power to declare heritage sites. Heritage site declare কৰাৰ power আছে নেকি? World Heritage Site সেনেকাই হ'ল no like national parks or even within protected areas like Assam Biodiversity Act to 9 I think power 9 heritage sites even within protected areas like national parks World Heritage to World Economic Forum দিয়ে নেকি কিহে নাজানো. Its members are appointed by the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Assam Biological Diversity Act to Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. বহুত tough question be. কোনে পাৰিব ভাই কোৱাচোন পাৰিব পাৰে বহুতে ৰ'ব মই অলপ চাব লাগিব এইটো কৰিমহে মই এৰি নিদিওঁ তাৰমানে হ'লে হওক নহ'লে নহওক. It's a statutory body. Okay, one is correct to release. It has a power to declare state heritage sites. Itu state or heritage site বুলি declare কৰা World Heritage Site বা the heritage site. Heritage site to কৰিব পাৰে heritage to World Heritage Site to separate thing no. So even within protected areas like national parks থাকিলেও biological diversity সেইটো পাৰিব কিয় নৰিব পাৰিব লাগে তো. Its members are appointed by them. So I think Union Ministry itu pura central পৰা আহিব নেকি? I think this is not correct. So 1 and 2 only. I will go for A. Is the correct answer. Asamor বস্তু চেণ্টাৰৰ পৰা ইমান এটা প্ৰভাৱ পৰিব না কথা ইউনিয়ন মিনিষ্ট্ৰি অফ বেলেগ হ'ব ন. So members of state biodiversity boards are appointed by the state biodiversity board appointed to the respective state governmentor পৰা হয় not the union ministry. Okay, stateৰ পৰা হয় চেণ্টাৰৰ পৰা নাই আৰু ন. In the context of the Indian Constitution judicial review is explicitly mentioned in Article 13 of the Constitution. Judicial review Article 13 on the Senate. I don't know. Is explicitly mentioned in Article 13. I don't know why. Allows the High Court to invalidate a state law if it violates the basic structure of the Constitution. Allows the High Court to invalidate a state law if it violates the basic structure of the state law মানে invalidate কৰি দিয়ে to the basic structure. Basic structure ওপৰতে না. So the correct হ'ব পাৰে is applicable to Constitutional Amendment Act passed under Article 368. Yes, of course. It is explicitly mentioned in Article 13 of the Constitution. It 2 and 3 to wasn't like is applicable to Constitutional Amendment Act passed by under Article 368. Given 2 and 3 to correct couple lage, but 1 to hoboni no it explicitly mentioned in Article 13 of the Constitution. Article 13 কি আছে? এইটো জুডিচিয়েল ৰিভিউ ন. জুডিচিয়েল ৰিভিউটো 13ত নাথাকিব লাগে তো মই পাহৰি থাকিলোঁ না. 11ৰ পৰা এইপিনে 12ৰ পৰা 13 কিবা এনেকৈ আছিলে কিবা 36 ন নাই এইটো নহ'ব. চ' আই উইল গো ফৰ 2 and 3 অনলি হ'লে হ'ল নহ'লে নাই চি গোটেইকেইটা কাৰেক্ট. চ' আই মেড মিষ্টেক 13তে আছে বোলে judicial review. Okay, all three statements are correct. Article 13 provides the basis and judicial precedent specifically provide the case 130 case 1973 no onwards has firmly established that even amendments are subject to review if they violate the basic structure. Kisam bostu mane ta monote nai kunta article ক'ত আছে Which of the following accurately describes the Pike system's economic impact? Pike system's economic impact. Early described Pike systems. Okay, Pike labor and administrative service. Or no? It inhabited the development of a mercantile class in the Ahom kingdom. Pike system impact with an accurately described the Pike system's economic impact. Economic impact. No, it inhibited the development of a mercantile class in the Ahom kingdom. Mercantile classত কিবা এফেক্ট কৰিছে নেকি? ব্যৱসায় বাণিজ্য কৰা ক্লাছৰ বুনিছবিলাকৰ আহোম কিংডমৰ ইনহাবিটেড ডেভেলপমেণ্ট মাৰ্চেণ্টাইল ক্লাছ এইটো কেনেকৈ ডাইৰেক্টটো এফেক্ট নকৰিব হ'ব পাৰে it necessitated the maintenance of a complex administrative bureaucracy to oversee labor distribution complex administrative bureaucracy to oversee labor distribution to complex বুলি দিছে যে then এইটো বস্তুটো হয় it encouraged the monetization of the Ahom economy yes of course গোটেইকেইটা কাৰেক্ট হ'ব লাগে it inhibited development of a mercantile class Pike systemৰ কাৰণে mercantile class হেৰি হৈছিলে নেকি yes হয় কাৰণ এইবিলাক মানে ৰিচ ক্লাছৰ হেৰিবিলাক পাইক হেৰি কৰিব নালাগিছিলে ন চ' আই থিংক গোটেইকেইটা কাৰেক্ট অল আই উইল গো ফৰ ডি encourage monetization of the Ahom economy Ahom economy পাইক চিষ্টেমে পইচা ইনক্ৰিজ কৰিছিল নেকি কৰা নাছিল তাৰমানে চ' এইটো ইনকাৰেক্ট হৈ থাকিলে ভুল হৈ থাকিলে পাইক চিষ্টেমটো আৰু লেবাৰহে আছিলে ন লেবাৰ আৰু হেৰিহে লেবাৰ কৰা আৰু ছাৰ্ভিচ দিয়া পইচাটো দিয়া নাছিলে ন আহোম ইকনমিটো মনিটাইজেশ্যন মানে টকা পইচা ডাইৰেক্ট ন ইকনমি কি ক'ব বুজি নাপাওঁ The Pike system was labor-based and actually hindered the transition to a cash-based or monetized economy for a long period, which is why statement 1 is correct. And statement 3 is incorrect, maybe. That's why. Okay. Monetization মানে ডাইৰেক্ট টকা পইচাৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত বুজাই ন কিন্তু আহোমটো মানে হেৰি হৈছিলে পুৰা এফ্লুৱেণ্ট হৈ গৈছিলে ন কিবা কয় কি ক'ব তাক এডমিনিষ্ট্ৰেশ্যন হওক বিজনেছটো আগবাঢ়ি যায় মনিটাইজেশ্যনো আগবাঢ়িব লাগিছিলে অ'কে যিয়ে নহওক What's the following about wetland conservation in Assam? Wetland conservation. Tiborbil is a Ramsar site and also a notified bird sanctuary. Yes. Bird sanctuary. Tiborbil bird sanctuary. Yes. The Ramsar Convention guidelines mandate that the state government must provide financial compensation to any local community losing access to a site. It mandate কৰিছে ন guidelines mandate that the state government must provide financial compensation to any local community losing access to a site. তো হ'ব লাগেতো ন লোকেল কমিউনিটি তাত থকা মানুহকেইটাৰ যিটো অলপ হেৰি হয় ন মাটি ঠাটি নোহোৱা হৈ যায় তেতিয়া পইচা দিব লাগে বুলি কৈছে ন পইচা মানে আৰু কি কম্পেনচেশ্যন কৰিছে নেকি মানে কিবা এটা ক্ষতিপূৰণে হ'ব নিচিনা লাগে না এইটো ৰামচাৰ চাইড গাইডলাইনৰ মতে কেনেকুৱা হ'ব লোকেলৰতো লেভেল থাকিবই ন লোকেল মানে আৰু কি লোকেলকতো কৰিবই লাগিব তো বাহিৰৰতো নহয় ৱাইল্ডলাইণ্ড definition under the 2017 rules includes human-made water bodies wetland definition human-made water body to include কৰিছে নেকি wetland definitionত wetland to human-made নহয় 2017 includes 2017 চনত হবাতো লাগে হ'ব পাৰিব পাৰে তাৰ কাৰণে দিছে অনুমান এটা বহুত টাফ হয় এইটো বস্তুটো হ'ব পাৰে কাৰণ সেইকাৰণে দিছে চ' আই উইল চুজ ডি এতিয়া ৰামচাৰ ছেটত লোকেল যিবিলাক কমিউনিটি আছে সেইবিলাকৰ সেইটো ভুল হৈছে 3টো কিন্তু কাৰেক্ট আছে বহুত মানে ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট বস্তু কিন্তু চ' মই ভুলেই কৰিলোঁ ভাল কুৱেশ্যন দিছে মানে বহুত বেছি ভাল মানে ভালেই ভাল বহুত ভাল বহুত জানিব লগা কথা আছে ন এনেকুৱা ভাল লাগিছে কুৱেশ্যনটো ৰামচাৰ গাইডলাইন্স প্ৰমোট ৱাইজ ইউজ এণ্ড কনজাৰভেশ্যন বাট ডু নট কণ্টেইন আ mandatory provision for financial compensation to communities as described mandatory provision এটি mandate কৰি দিছে কৈছে ন mandate কৰিছে এইটোৰ কাৰণে ভুল হ'ব পাৰে এনেতো promote wise use and conservation but do not contain a mandatory provision for financial compensation তো মানে কোৱা নাই আৰু কি অ'কে কৰিব লাগে লোকেল মানুহ বাইচান্স যদিও পূৰ্বজন্ম মানে বহুত দিনৰ পৰা ধৰ এটা থাকিব পাৰে কিন্তু কি ক'ব সিহঁতৰ পাৱাৰ আছে চেণ্ট্ৰেল পাৱাৰ পোৱা নিচিনা regarding the Assam fiscal responsibility and budget management APSC no Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. It mandates the state government to progressively eliminate the revenue deficit. Mandates state government to progressively eliminate revenue deficit. Mandate শব্দটোৱে মানে অলপ মানে হেৰি পান লগাই দিয়ে It allows for of budget borrowings without the explicit approval of the state legislature of budget borrowing to budgetor নোহোৱা borrowing budgetot নাথাকা borrowing না ধাৰ লোৱা ঋণ লোৱা it allows for without explicit approval of the state legislature এইটো হ'ব লাগেতো এলাও কৰিতো ন গমেই নাপায় ইহঁতে যে ধাৰ লৈছে সেনেকুৱা নিচিনা it allows for without the explicit approval of the approval approve নকৰা কৰিব পাৰেতো পাৰিব লাগেতো It is aligned with the recommendations of the Union Finance Commission. Assam Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Union Finance Commissioner লগত লিংক আছে নেকি থাকিব 3টো হ'ব লাগে correct and it mandates the state government to progressively eliminate the revenue deficit মানে কমাই দিয়ে ন One and 3 correct হ'ব লাগে ন explicit without the explicit approval of the state ইমান টাফ দিছে ন মানে কি ক'ম বুজি নাপাওঁ বস্তুখিনি নাজানো যে It is aligned with the recommendations of the Union Finance Commission. Union Finance Commissioner লগত Assam Fiscal Responsibility and recommendation কিবা আছে নেকি থাকিব লাগিব 3 correct হ'ব but it mandates the state organization eliminate the revenue deficit তাত হৈ আছে কোনটো হ'ব 2 and 3 নেকি 2 and 3 Okay, I will choose 2 and 3 C ফুল হৈ গ'ল so ফুল হৈ গ'ল ইমান টাফ কুৱেশ্যন টাফে মোৰ কাৰণে টাফ it the 1 and 3 only it allows to of budget borrowings of budget borrowing the meaning to give without the explicit approval of the state legislature state legislature গম নোপোৱা কৰি এলাও কৰিছে না বাজেট borrowing এইটোতো ফুল হ'ব লাগিছিলে মই তেতিয়াহে অলপমান অনুমান পালোঁ না ষ্টেটমেণ্ট without the approval of the okay APSC Act is designed to enforce fiscal discipline ফিজিকেল মানেতো টকা পইচা ন বাজেট finance okay allowing of budget borrowings without legislative scrutiny would violate the core purpose of the act মানে legislative legislative কি ক'ব তাক ষ্টেট লেজিসলেচাৰক জনাব লাগিব তাৰমানে legislative bodyক of budget borrowing তাৰপিছতহে of budget borrowing ল'ব পাৰে আৰু কি okay okay ইমান এটা নাজানো দেই কেইটা ভুল হ'ল তিনিটা মাত্ৰ কাৰেক্ট 1 2 3 4 5 6 7টা ভুল হৈছে বিৰাট ভাল মাৰ্কছ পাই আছো মই regarding the Assam Land and Revenue Regulation 1886 as amended, consider the following. The regulation provides for the creation of the protected belts and blocks to prevent the alienation of land from indigenous tribal communities to immigrants. To prevent the alienation of land from indigenous. Ito correct hoy. The settlement of land revenue is exclusively based on the soil classification without regard to the tenure of the holder. Ito full hobo lage. The Deputy Commissioner has the final authority to sanction the convention of TC. No? Annual patta to periodic patta without any oversight from the state organized government. Without any oversight from the state government. TC সব খিনি কৰিব পাৰে নেকি DCA তো সবসে ডাঙৰ হয় ন oversight without any oversight from the government. The settlement of land revenue is exclusively based on the soil classification without regard to the tenure of the holder. Ito correct no without regard tenure of the holder exclusively based on soil classification. Ito hobo nalige. The Deputy Commissioner has the authority to sanction conversion of annual patta to periodic patta. Okay, annual or periodic without any oversight of the state government. I don't think this is correct. So I would choose only 1 or 1 and 2. To the tenure of the holder. So I will go for one only C. Yes, C. Many more to knowledge or common sense to use so C correct so thanks. Ito hobo no our Deputy Commissioner to commission and but to government or হোৱাকে any বুলি কৈছিল tenure nature of rights okay is a critical factor in revenue settlement. Statement 3 is incorrect. This power is governed by state prescribed guidelines and subject to oversight. Okay, this কাম বিলাক তো ষ্টেটৰ আন্ডাৰত ষ্টেটে চাই ন আৰু এইটো ডিচিৰ কামবিলাক চাই থাকে মানে তাৰ ওপৰতো আছে আৰু গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট সেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কথা মানে ষ্টেট ষ্টেট লেজিসলেচাৰ আছে সেনেকৈ ধৰণৰ concerning the state election commission in Assam. And the election commission is mandated to conduct elections for both the municipals and the autonomous district councils under the 6th schedule. Municipality election to koriro kintu etu municipality ar panchayats and the autonomous district council election to conduct kore niki under the 6th schedule কৰিব okay হ'ব পাৰে autonomous district council হ'ব পাৰে the power of the state election commission to superintend direct and control elections is derived directly from the Constitution. Article 243K and 243ZA. Itu অলপ মানে oh my god কুৱেশ্যন কেইটা অলপ মাথাত মানে হেৰি হৈছে ধৰিছে মানে কি ক'ব তাক superintendent ডাইৰেক্ট কৰিব পাৰে ন election derived directly from the Constitution. Therefore, election superintendent direct and control elections is derived from Article 243. Article 243K to Hobozen like Hode. Election Commission can be removed by the governor of the state on grounds similar to those of a judge of the High Court. Can be removed by the governor. State Election Commissioner to governor pare naki no president hobo lage dei hobo lage. So this is correct. 3 can be correct, 2 can be correct, 1 can be correct. It's mandated by 2 to conduct elections for both municipalities and the district councils under the 6th schedule. Under the 6th schedule. 6th schedule the autonomous district council the district head on selection kore. District head selection kora to I don't think correct, but 2 entry only. I will go for 2 entry. C. Full hole. So I made mistake. 1 was correct and 3 is correct as well. It 2 to guess State Election Commission's power for municipal elections is derived from the state legislation. State legislation under 243ZA or the ulta, not directly granted by the Constitution. The same absolute way as the Election Commission of the not directly granted by the Constitution. Constitution of the election directly from the Constitution. Directly then only. Itu article municipal elections is derived from state election under Article 243ZA. বুজি পোৱা নাই ভালকে only granted by the Constitution in the same absolute way as the Election Commission of India. Election Commissioner power বেছি আছে তাৰ মানে এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ বুজি পাব লগা বস্তুটো central one. Question 3 regarding the Assam Agricultural Produce Market Development and Regulation Act, consider the following. The Act mandates the creation of market committees that are fully autonomous from the State Agriculture Department. The Act mandates the creation of market committees that are fully autonomous from the State Agriculture Department. Ito নহয়, ito হ'বই নোৱাৰে, 1 to হ'বই নোৱাৰে. 1 ক'ত আছে? এটা BA মাত্ৰ হ'ব. Correct answer BA হ'ব. Yes, correct answer BA হ'ব. BA correct answer হইতে গেলে আৰু বাকি নাচাৱে কোন আছে না. It allows for the establishment of the private markets and direct marketing centers to bypass the traditional APMC regulated market system. ENAM, that is National Agricultural Market. Is integration is mandatory for all. Market committees operate under the control and supervision of the State Agriculture Department. Statement 3 is incorrect. While encouraged, that is NAM the national astronaut into national agricultural market. INAM integration is not legally for every single APMC under this specific act APMC itu APMC মানে কি বা Assam agricultural produce market APMC agricultural produce market commission হবে নাকি it's enough. Regarding the governor's discretionary power, 6 schedule under 6 schedule, the governor can withhold his assent to any law passed by the district council. Can withhold his assent to any law passed by the district council. Kyo no ribo pare governor down. The governor can dissolve a district council if it fails to function according to the constitution. District council হেৰি কৰিব পাৰে নেকি গভৰ্ণৰে district council it fails to function according to the constitution. Dissolve কৰিব নোৱাৰিব নেকি? The governor must act over the advice of the state council of ministers when exercising powers under the 6th schedule. No, 3 to correct নহয় so 1 and 2 হ'ব এতে correct মানে governor can dissolve a district council if it fails. District council যদি কিবা গণ্ডগোল কৰে ন unconstitutional কাম কৰে মানে dissolve কৰিব পাৰে so 1 and 2 only correct. Yes 3 to নহয় 3 to correct হ'বই নোৱাৰে. When the governor exercises powers under the 6th schedule, they act in their discretion and are not bound by the advice of the State Council of Ministers. Yes, State Council of Ministers. It is separate. When autonomous district councilor regarding Assam tribes administrative stress. The 3 tribes are homogeneous ethnic community recognized as a single scheduled tribe under the Constitution of India. 3 tribes to scheduled tribe to no hoy ST no hoy 3 tribes to OBC hoy OBC ne ST hoy but ST no hoy ST to nahi hota hai yaar aru 3 tribe bilak ST papor karone to iman andolan kori ase but dhyan nai. It is not correct so 1 is not correct. 1 code ase it B hobo correct answer. Yes, B is the correct answer. Gote keta to what ase eta so gote correct bisarse incorrect answer bisarane. So Assam tribes welfare department is responsible for implementing both central and state welfare schemes for these communities. Yes. The Plantation Labor Act 1951 mandates the provision of health, education, and housing for tea garden workers, and its enforcement is a joint responsibility of the state and the tea garden management. Okay. Not recognized as a single scheduled tribe, but are a diverse group. To single tribe নহয় to বহুত কেটা মানুহ বহুত ধৰণৰ ট্ৰাইবৰ মানুহ আছে তাতে. A diverse group and single tribe diverse group and currently categorized under the OBC list in Assam. Yes, Okhomoto OBC here kore to category. Regarding the Indo-Burma diversity hotspot Assam. Yes, hotspot biodiversity hotspot. It includes the entire Brahmaputra Valley and the surrounding hill ranges. It hoy gote keta hoy enter Brahmaputra Valley and the surrounding hill regions. Brahmaputra nadi hote Assamote poribo no Indo-Burma is correct. The hotspot is determined based on the species richness and the degree of threat to the atomic species. Yes, the 70% মানে degradation of Aligona species or endemic species. The Kaziranga National Park is considered the core area of this hotspot, which is why it receives international funding directly. Kaziranga National Park core area boli na kotha nai nohoi ete. So 3 is not correct, 1 and 2 only. A, yes, A is the correct answer. মানে বহুত বেছি বঢ়িয়া কোৱেশ্চন কাটিছে ক্ৰিটিকেলি মানে analytical type now. While Kaziranga is critical, yes, hotspot, and designation is a designation is a broad regional classification, not a park specific status for international funding. Yes, eto eta parkot himito na thake no athaka na Indo Burma gote area jori aru itu core keneke hobo core mane itu center keneke hobo not possible. Considering the 16th Finance Commission and the Interstate Council, State Council, okay. The Finance Commission again recommend the transfer of funds to the interstate council for resolving water disputes. Okay, the 16th Finance Commission is expected to include climate resilience as a parameter for performance-based incentives for states. Expected to include climate resilience as a parameter for performance-based incentives for states. Climate or ক্ষেত্ৰত itu finance or বস্তুটো কেনেকৈ আহিল The Interstate Council is a constitutional body. Interstate Council constitutional body under Article 263. Interstate Council constitutional body nahi hota hai. So I don't think this is correct. So 1 and 2 only. A. Oh, sorry. The Finance Commission can recommend the transfer of funds to the Interstate Council for resolving water disputes. Finance Commission's mandate doesn't include funding the Interstate Council for water dispute resolution. Water dispute resolution kone kore to bhalke dia nai bostutu. Okay, but it is correct. Finance Commission, Finance Commission is expected to include climate resilience as a parameter for performance-based incentives for states. Okay, the Interstate Council is constitutional body under Article 263. 263 constitutional body on Interstate Council. Okay, 263 also. Regarding the Assam State Disaster Management Authority, ASDMA, Assam State Disaster Management Authority. It is chaired by the Chief Minister of Assam. Assam State Disaster Management Authority. Chief Minister is the power to declare any region as a disturbed area and impose land use restrictions. Assam State Disaster Management Authority it is the power to declare any region a disturbed area and impose land use restrictions. Yes, its funding is derived primarily from the National Disaster Response Fund, NDRF, with no contribution from the state. It is not possible. So 1 and 2 only correct. It focus করে দিছে দেই এটা এই হবে না স্টেটৰ কোন হয় response fund is a joint contribution by the state and the central government. So state disaster response team, okay, SDRF. Concerning the Assam's contribution to the Indian national movement, okay, international movement, some more contribution. The Assam Association formed in 1903. Assam Association 1903. Yes, was the primary platform for political discourse before the level of the Indian National Congress. primary, yes, platform for political discourse leader of the International Congress. Yes, International Congress কিমান ধনত আহিলে 29ত আহিলে নে 1917 অসমত মহাত্মা গান্ধী কেতিয়া আহিছিলে প্ৰথম তাকে পাহৰি থাকোঁ ইমান ইজিটো 1914তে আহিছিলে নে 1917 অসম সাহিত্য সভাহে পাহৰি থাকোঁ Okay, Assam Session 1903, it was primary political discourse. Okay, the Cunningham Circular prohibited students from participating in political activities due to large-scale protests in Assam in 1930. Cunningham Circular it to protest hoy, but 1930 yes 29 আসলে 1929 লাহোৰত হেৰি হৈছিল না নেহৰুৰ সেশন হৈছিল ফাৰ্ষ্ট হেৰি বিচাৰিছিলে কি ক'ব তাক freedom independence বিচাৰিছিলে full independence এটো আসাম 1930 sir Cunningham Circular 1930 তে হৈছিল নেকি তো হোৱা যেন লাগি আছে তো the riots in Assam were organizations formed primarily to demand total independence from the British in 1920s. It is not possible total so 1 and 2 only A yes কিহৰ কাৰণে 20 মানে কমপ্লিট ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স বিচাৰিছে বলে ন কেনেকে এইখিনি সময়লৈকে হোৱাই নাছিলে হাহখে নাছিলে কোৱানছিলে Riots were primarily organized to protest land revenue hack কৰা হয় না riots বিলাক land revenue এটা মানে এৰিয়াত মানে গাঁৱত এনেকে হেৰি কৰিছিলে riots পাতিছিলে ন land revenue হাইক মানে বহুত বেছি হাইক কৰিছিলে বঢ়াই দিছিলে and focus on agrarian issues আৰু মাটিৰ মানে কি ক'ব খেতিৰ not a demand to have an independence organizations okay so it is a Cunningham Circular prohibited students from participating in political activities in 1930 okay আৰু Assam Session 1903 primarily political to hoy correct 1930 to Cunningham Circular no okay 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 20 regarding the Assam Official Language Act 1960 okay and language movement the act was passed to establish Assamese as the sole official language of the state itu ekmatro asile niki 1960 popare Assam Official Language Act 1960 okay 1963 the paisile niki it included specific safeguards for the use of Bengali in the Kasar district it included soldo no bodi dawle no শুধু বেঙ্গলিটো ইউজ কৰিছিলে safeguards use for the Kasar district এটো soldo no one to no the movement for the act was characterized by total consensus across all ethnic and linguistic communities in Assam the movement for the act was characterized by total consensus across all ethnic and linguistic to correct hobo but sole official language of the state so 2 and 3 same ho 3 to all full version lagi ase 2 and 3 hobo B le hol 20 Hamed row tar mane etu 3 to all ethnic and linguistic communities in Assam soporo heri consensus nasile mane jana nasile কত হ'ব ভিতৰি থাকা কমিউনিটি ট্ৰাইব বিলাক আৰু কত পাহাৰত থাকা বিলাক okay the language movement was highly contentious and led to significant protests and ethnic tensions particularly in the Barak Valley okay let me take a little break okay Okay, slow হৈ আছে মোৰ টাইমটো অলমষ্ট 1 hour হৈ গ'ল আৰু 1 ঘণ্টাত 20টা কুৱেশ্যন অলৰেডি মাত্ৰ regarding the Assam Land and Revenue Regulation 1886 as amended constituted following the power of execution under section 69 can be exercised by the deputy commissioner against any person occupying land in a protected belt without prior permission. To section bilak but the power of ejection, that is ejection mane ki eviction kora no, can be exercised by the deputy commissioner against any person occupying land in a protected belt without prior permission. Prior permission diboi lagibo, so this is not correct. But 2 and 3 correct hobo. Okay, oh sorry, 1 and 2 correct bole, 16 and section 2 beleg bole একো নাই ভুল হ'ল হ'লে আৰু এইটো কাৰেক্ট আছিলে নাজানো পাই ইমান টান নে স্ক্ৰীনশ্বট মাৰি ৰাখিছোঁ The record of rights prepared under this regulation serves as presumptive evidence of title in civil courts. Presumptive evidence of title in civil courts. The settlement officer appointed under the regulation has the power to permanently settle land without the approval of the Commissioner of Divisions. 322 no hisle aro the power of execution under section 69 can be exercised by the deputy commissioner against any person occupying land in a protected belt. Oh, protected belt jodo thake no agor pray eto protected already hoise no, so eto to mane without prior permission no, permission no ke goro pare hote tothapi permission die ki jani amar to eviction hoisile, so it wrong hobo lage no. Oh, not wrong, the wrong no hoy without permission karon into already protected belt, so it cannot be wrong. Okay, the statement of land, especially large scale or contentious cases, requires the approval of higher administrative authorities, commissioner, government, to ensure fiscal and legal accountability. The settlement of land, especially large scale or contentious cases, requires the approval of higher administrative authorities to ensure fiscal and legal accountability. Consider the following regarding the Right to Information Act 2005 in the context of Assam. The Assam Information Commission cannot summon the Chief Minister's office under any circumstances. Eto Chief Minister office সোমাব নোৱাৰে মানে সোমোৱাৰ কথা নহয় যেনিবা সামন কৰিব নোৱাৰে, আদেশ দিব নোৱাৰে, মানে কি ক'ব তাক আদেশ জাৰি কৰা হ'ব ন, সেইবুলি কামাণ্ড কৰা নহয় আৰু Assam Information Commission. The second appeal under the RTI Act must be filed with the State Information Commission within 9 days from the date of the decision of the first appellate authority. It must be filed with the State Information Commission 90 days. The Assam Information Commission has the power to impose penalties on the public information officer for failure to furnish information recovered by the PO salaries, which is then recovered. This is correct. 3 to correct hoy kintu 3 and 2 hobo. 3 and 2. I will go for 3 and 2. Yes, B correct answer. Assam Information Commission has the power to summon any public authority as defined under the Act. If the matter falls within its jurisdiction, regardless of the office holder. Regarding the Assam Public Services Conduct Rules 965, Assam Public Services Rule 965 came. An officer can participate in a public protest if it is organized by a registered trade union of which they are a member. No, Public Service Commission will participate করব না public protest if it is organized by a registered trade union. Trade union to separate বস্তু, so this is not correct. 2 and 3 হ'ব লাগে, but I will check it out again. The government servants are prohibited from making any public statement that may cause embarrassment to the state government in the itu correct হয়. The rules prohibited a government servant from accepting any gift from a foreign diplomat without prior sanction from the state government. Yes, this is also correct. 2 and 3 are correct. I will select yes, B. I did correct. Okay. Conduct rules strictly prohibit government servants from participating in demonstration or strikes even if they are members of a union. Okay. Regarding the Assam Forest Regulation 1891, Assam Forest Regulation 1891, the state government has the power to declare any forest land as a reserve forest, even if it is currently under the position of an autonomous district council. Yes, it is power. Autonomous district or reserve forest declare group, no? The regulation provides for the compounding of offences, allowing an accused to pay a fine instead of undergoing trial for minor forest offences. The regulation provides for the compounding of offences, compound double allowing an accused to pay a fine instead of undergoing trial for minor forest offences. Minor hole to kenekoa double kurbo pare niki noare. Transit permits are required for the movement of all forest produce across state borders, including non-timber forest produce. No. Transit permits are required. No, this is not correct. 3 is not correct, so what will I choose? 1 and 2 correct hobo lage. Transit permits are required for the movement of all forest produce across the non-timber forest produce equal to a cotton. So the regulation provides for the compounding of offences, allowing an accused to pay a fine instead of undergoing trial for minor forest offences. So 1 and 2 all are correct. Itu মানে বহুত বেছি কিবা এটা বেলেগ ধৰণৰ টাফ ন বস্তুবিলাক আপোনালোকে এবাৰ কেনেকুৱা পাইছে নাজানো টাফ হয় বস্তুখিনি বহুত টাফ হোৱা যেন লাগে নহয় এইটো কি গতিকেতে কাৰেক্ট বোলে The state government has the power to declare any forest land as a reserved forest. Itu hoy autonomous district council under tackle the regulation provides for the compounding of offences, compounding of offences, allowing an accused to pay a fine instead of undergoing trial. Itu to correct hoy মানে ফাইন হে কৰিব মানে no মানে trialত নজয়গে না মানে minor forest offense no. There's no problem. Transit permits are required for the movement of all forest. Transit permit required for the movement of all forest produce across state borders, including non-timber forest produce মানে ষ্টেট বৰ্ডাৰৰ যেতিয়া মানে কি ক'ব ট্ৰেন্সফাৰ হয় ন ষ্টেট বৰ্ডাৰ তেতিয়া নন টিম্বাৰ ফৰেষ্ট প্ৰডিউচবিলাকো লাগিব যিকোনো বস্তু বাঁহ হওক কিবা গাজা হওক কিবা হওক সেনেকৈ ধৰণৰ কিবা ঢেকীয়া হওক কিবা হওক চব খঙা মৌ মাখি মূৰখ all forest produce across state borders including non-timber forest okay all are correct all statements are correctly provisions found whether the forest regulation and its subsequent amendments to regulate forest produce movement and administrative control but local people gila pare kintu just to eta state or an eta state to goise na border transfer kora hoise regarding the 6th seal paragraph 10 the district council can levy royalty on minerals extracted within the autonomous district the district council can levy royalty on minerals extracted within the autonomous district etu pare hobo pare mineralor karone district council mane royalty pabo mane power karone help korbo pare pai niki অনুমান পোৱা নিচিনা লাগে পাবো তো না পাবো ডিস্ট্রিক্ট কাউন্সিল এটা যেহেতু এটা বডি হয় না কিবা কয় এডমিনিষ্ট্ৰেটিভ বডি নিচিনা হয় ন দ্য state government can overrule the district council's decision on royalty rates if it interferes with national mineral policy national mineral policy যেটো হেৰি হয় তেতিয়াহ'লে district state government overrule কৰিব পাৰে বুলি কৈছে পাৰিব পাৰে যেটো national mineral policy আহে okay এটো হ'ব পাৰে but এটো হয় one হয় two হয় the revenue collected from these royalties is shared between the district council and the state government in a 50-50 ratio no I don't think correct so 1 and 2 only A yes বাকি কিটা কিয় দিবতে কেনেকৈ বা কালেক্ট কৰে there is no constitutional mandate for a fixed 50-50 revenue sharing between district council and state for mineral royalties okay question following we get the Assam state budget process the vote on account is a constitutional requirement for the government to withdraw money from the consolidated fund before the budget is passed the for the account is a constitutional requirement for the government to withdraw money from the consolidated fund before the budget is passed তো হ'ব লাগে ইয়াতে একো মানে ডিফেক্ট পোৱা নাই before the budget passed কৈছে ন before the কি কৈছে before the budget is passed before the constitutional requirement of the government is a constitutional requirement for the government to withdraw money from consolidated fund budget pass নহৰ আগতে vote on account নহ'ব এটোতো নহ'ব মোৰ অনুমান কিয় হ'বতে পাছ হ'ব লাগিব ন তাৰপিছতে supplementary grants are vote on account supplementary grants are requested when the amount authorized for the current financial year is found to be insufficient supplementary grants are requested with the amount authorized for the current year is found to be insufficient supplementary grants yes this is correct two can be correct the public accounts committee examines the appropriation amount accounts and the audit report of the control auditor general after the expenditure has been incurred okay this is correct 2 and 3 can be okay yes 2 and 3 are correct but 1 is not correct I think 1 is not correct so I will not go for 1 so B I will choose B all were correct so I made mistake mane public accounts vote on account to কিবা কয় consolidated fund to mane budget to pass নহৰ আগতে পইচা withdraw কৰিব পাৰে so that is it vote on account okay all statements are correct descriptions of the parliamentary or legislative control of the over public finances okay Concerning contempt of court at Guwahati High Court, the High Court can punish for contempt of scandalizing the court even if the act was committed outside the courtroom. Contempt of court. Contempt of court is how outside scandalize the court even if the course even the act was committed outside the courtroom. I don't think this is correct or not. Contempt of court. হ'ব পাৰে নহ'ব পাৰে নাজানো দেই কোৰ্টৰ বাহিৰত গৈ কিনে যিটো গণ্ডগোল কৰি দিয়ে ন The Contempt of Courts Act 1971 allows for the truth to be a valid defense in a contempt proceeding. For the truth to be a valid defense in a contempt proceeding. Okay, correct হ'ব এইটো. The High Court doesn't have the power to punish a person for criminal contempt if the act occurred during the proceedings of a district court under its jurisdiction. No, 3 is not correct, so 1 and 2 can be correct. Outside court to contempt of court hobo pare case like hobo pare no 1 and 2 I will A. Yes, A is the correct answer. Because to 3 to bahut beshi here no mane ki kobote doubtful hoy. The High Court possesses the power to punish contempt of its subordinate courts under Article 215 at the Contempt of Courts Act. Okay. 28 regarding the Assam State Biodiversity Board, again at the People's Biodiversity Register. Assam State Biodiversity Board and People's Biodiversity Register. The People's Biodiversity Register is a mandatory document to be prepared by every local biodiversity management committee. To mandatory by every local biodiversity management committee. Local every itu I don't think correct. Itu document to sobore na thakibo no local biodiversity management committee na thakibo pare no na thake to biodiversity mane ki forest protection kora hobo pare no. The People's Biodiversity Register records only the biological resources and not the traditional knowledge associated with them. Because the People's Biodiversity Register records only the biological resources and not the traditional knowledge associated with them. Biological resources. Traditional knowledge to thakibo lagibo. So eto incorrect hobo. Oh, eto 1 to correct hobo, 2 to incorrect hobo. The following is in a People's Biodiversity Register is protected from commercial exploitation by third parties without the local. Yes. So kuntu correct kolo. Traditional knowledge. Okay, 2 don't know. So 1 and 3 are correct. I will see. Yes. C mandatory mane local hero biodiversity register hero jebla hero so poko lagibo tar mane document to People's Biodiversity Register is a mandatory document every local biodiversity management committee. People's Biodiversity ki kobo to register is designed explicitly to record both biological resources and traditional knowledge. No, traditional knowledge thake to no important hoy no. Because the four estimates regarding Brahmaputra Board Advisory Role. The board provides technical advice to the state governments and of the northeast on dredging strategies of the Brahmaputra. Eto advice dibo pare to advice he matro de neki. Advisory role question no advisory role hobo eto correct hobo. Its advice is binding for the state governments for all flood control projects costing above 100 crore. Ayo, ito ki kotha bole? Advice is binding on the state governments for all flood control projects costing above 100 crore upward hole mane hobo niki binding hone government state government. The board reports related to the North Eastern Council for all its budgetary approvals. তো বহুত বেছি কমপ্লিকেটেড হৈ গ'ল ফাৰ্ষ্টটো 1 to 2 কাৰেক্ট হয় 1 to 2 কাৰেক্ট হয় Its advice is binding on the state governments for all flood control projects costing about oh 2 to no hai 2 to correct hobo nore 2 cannot be correct so if 2 cannot be correct then only one is left early Northern so I will choose 1 and 3 or 9 no so only one yes only one I did correct thank you to me okay নিজে পাৰিছো no the board's role is largely advisory statement 3 is incorrect the board is under the Ministry of Jal Shakti not the Northeastern Council okay for its budget okay the Minister of Jal Shakti no Brahmaputra board concerning the article 263 to interstate council or no 263 interstate council yes the president can establish an interstate council if they perceive a duty to investigate and discuss subjects in which some or all of the states have a common interest. An interstate council, yes, president and a governor. President pare and a governor. President or power and a governor interstate council. I don't know. President pare no perceive a duty to investigate and discuss subjects in which some or all of the states have a common interest. The Council's recommendations are advisory and not binding on the state governments. কি কৈছে Interstate Council's recommendations are advisory and not binding on the state governments. Yes, এইটো হ'ব লাগে the government binding on the state governments হ'ব পাৰে এইটো correct হ'ব the council is required to meet at least once every 3 months as per the constitutional mandate. 3 মাহৰ ভিতৰত একবাৰ হৈ গ'ল না এনেকেতো কথা নাই কি জানিব ন Interstate Council is a what called statutory body কৈছে ন Concerning the Article 263, Interstate Council, the President can establish an interstate council if they perceive a duty to investigate and discuss subjects which, okay, the Council's recommendations are advisory and not binding on the state governments. Okay. The council is required to meet at least once every 3 months. Sparta. I don't think 3 is correct, so I will choose all 1 and 2. Some more states have common interest, or some all. Okay, 1 and 2, I will A. Yes, it came to be correct. Okay, I have to do faster, okay. Regarding the Assam Village Defense Organization, 1966 Act, the village defense parties operate under the direct operational control of the local district magistrate, independent of the superintendent of police, under direct operational control. I don't think correct. Members of the VDP are considered public servants with the meaning of the Indian Penal Code, which while performing their duties, public servant. That public servant কেনেকৈ হ'ব VDP party? Volunteer হে হ'ব কিবা এনেকৈ নহয় No, volunteer, no. The Act explicitly empowers the PDP to conduct investigations into recognizable offences in the absence of. The Act explicitly empowers the PDP to conduct investigations. No, this is not correct. So, tinita itu correct no, only two no level one. Two, the village defense parties operate under the direct control of. No, this is not correct. So only two. I will go for B. Yes, B came to be the correct answer. It is generally function under the supervision of police department of the police department. Okay. Okay. This is BDPs are for assistance and patrolling, not for conducting. That is assistance and patrolling government conducted for formal police investigations. They cannot investigate formal. Consider the following regarding the Assam State Commission for Minorities. The commission is a constitutional body. Minority hole to State Commission for Minority garne to constitutional body hobo lagi no. Established under the spirit of Article 350B. Hobo pare. It has the power to take suomoto cognizable of matters related to the deprivation of rights of minority communities in Assam. Yes, this can have suomoto. Yes. Mau kita disturb deh. Mau kamu its annual reports are presented to the governor, who is Assam State Commission. Then record to place them with the State Legislative Assembly with an action taken memorandum. Its annual reports, Assam State Commission governor. Itu hoine নহয় হ'ব পাৰে দে. Last time before the okay. The commission is a constitutional body established under the spirit of Article 350. Itu spirit boleh dise. It has the power to take suomoto cognizable matters related to the deprivation of. I don't think one is correct. Spirit of 350. 2 and 3 don't know. I'll go for okay. All D. Full হৈ গ'ল 2 and 3 আছিলে 2 350 এটা কি আছে স্ট্যাচুটৰি বডি হয় এইটো কি হ'ব কনস্টিটিউশনাল বডি নহয় Assam State Commission for Minorities Commission no statutory body or constitutional statutory or executive. Okay. Regarding the Assam Agricultural Income Tax Act 1939, this act allows the state to tax income derived from the sale of processed tea leaves, distinguishing it from agricultural income, which is exempt under the Income Act 1961. Assam Agricultural Income Tax Act. This act allows the state to tax income derived from the sale of processed tea leaves, distinguishing it from agricultural income. Tea leaves or vastuto which is exempt under the Operator Act applies uniformly to all agricultural produce. It to Assam Agricultural Income Tax, including rice and jute. No, it correct no. The power to levy this tax is derived from entry 46 list of the 7th schedule. Okay, one entry only. C. Yes, C. Regarding the Assam Private Universities Act 2007, the act requires that 50% of the seats and private universities be reserved for students who are permanent residents of Assam. Universities Act 50% reserved for permanent resident of the state. Okay, however, the chancellor of a private university is appointed by the state government, not a censor sponsoring body. No, this cannot be correct. The visitor of every private university under this act is the governor. Act is the governor of Assam university. How about it? So 1 and 3. I will go for 1 3A. Yes, A is the correct answer. Censor is generally appointed by the sponsoring body. Okay, or trust. গভৰ্ণৰে হেৰি কৰে ন মাজে মাজে ভিজিট কৰে মানে সেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কিবা গভৰ্ণৰৰ লগত লিংক আছে আৰু ন ক্ল'জ কানেকশ্যন ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিবিলাক concerning the Assam's sixth seal, that is autonomous district councils and customary laws. District councils have the power to codify and record the customary laws of the tribes in their areas. Yes, once codify কৰিব পাৰে নেকি পাৰিব সি তাৰ নিয়ম ফ'ল' কৰিব পাৰে ন পাৰে Once codified, these customary laws supersede any general law of the state legislature, even if the state law specifically mentions the tribal area. Customary laws supersede any general law of the state legislature. No, this cannot be correct. The High Court has no jurisdiction to review the validity of an SDC councils with customary law if it conforms to the tribal council's traditional norms. Yes, 1 and 3 are correct. That is okay. 1 and 3 mane 3 to karike hoy 2 to 1 no karike hoy but 2 ta once codified this customary law supersede any general law of the state legislature even if the state law specifically mentions the tribal area. Okay, all D. এটা মাত্ৰ কাৰেক্ট হ'ল এইটো ভুল বোলে High Court has no jurisdiction to review the validity of High Court আৰু কেনেকৈ ভ্যালিডেশ্যন থাকিব নো কৈছে ন কিবা এটা থাকিব চ' এইটো ভুল হৈ গ'ল না means it codification doesn't grant absolute supremacy over state law in all matters. Okay, the High Court retains judicial review powers for all codified laws. Okay, High Court to supremacy থাকিবই কিন্তু কিছুমান কথা হেৰি কৰিব নোৱাৰে আৰু ন ইণ্টাৰফেয়াৰ কৰিব নোৱাৰে কিছুমান এইটো কি কৈছিল ট্ৰেডিশ্যনেল নৰ্মছ কৈছে ন High Court has no jurisdiction and review the validity of an autonomous district council's codified customary law if it conforms to the tribal council's traditional norms. কিছুমানত নোৱাৰে কিছুমানত পাৰে সেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ Regarding Assam's tea garden laborers and ESI Act, economic কি আছিলে employees state insurance. Tea gardens are statutorily exempted from the Employees State Insurance Act and for it due to the existence of the Plantation Labor Act. Exempt কৰিছে from the Employees State Insurance Act and for it due to the existence of the Plantation Labor Act. হ'ব পাৰে Plantation Labor Act the state government can extend employees state insurance coverage to tea plantations through a notification in the official gazette. Okay, দুটা হলে টু কাৰেক্ট হলে 1 to ফুল হ'ব লাগিব Okay. The tea garden health system is entirely managed by the state and does not involve the garden management. Oh, three to hobe no correct. Three to hobe no correct. So only two. I will only two. I will go for B or only one two. Only two. That is yes B. B to correct hold. Okay. There's this really exempted but radar coverage that has historically been slow yet to implement. That is garden management has a significant role. Yes, thank you. We do. Concerning the Assam Khadi and Village Industries Board Act, the board is an autonomous body, Assam Khadi and Village Industries, whose members are appointed by the Ministry of MSME, Government of India. Autonomous body ho neki Assam Khadi and Village Industries Board. Okay, হ'ব পাৰে. It's Ministry or MSME, Ministry of MSME, no? Its primary objective includes the development and promotion of khadi and other village industries in rural Assam. Yes. The board has the power to grant loans to individual artisans without seeking state government guarantee. State government guarantee grant loans to individual artisans. I don't think this is correct. 1 and 2 only. I will go for 1 and 2. Oh, I do critical this, 2, 3 are the board autonomous body whose members are appointed by the Ministry of MSME, Government of India. Its primary objective, no. 2 is correct. Okay. The board has the power to grant loans to individual artisans without seeking state government. So only 2 I will be. Yes, be correct. Oh my god. Members are appointed by the state government. That is as state government. Very good. No, only 2. Oh, MSME no. ভালকে দিয়া নাই বস্তুখিনি as state funded board because specific budgetary government processes for large scale loan disbursements. Okay. Regarding section 144 in the context of Assam Police Act 2007, the power to impose section 144 is explicitly vested in the police commissioner independent of the executive magistrate's concurrence. This act mandates the creation of a State Police Accountability Commission regarding section 144 Assam Police Act. The power to impose section 144 is explicitly vested in the police commissioner, independent of the executive magistrate's concurrence. No. This act mandates the creation of a State Police Accountability Commission. The act prohibits any political party from creating private volunteer forces for the maintenance of order. The act prohibits any political party from creating private volunteer forces for the maintenance of order. It to hobo noare. So only 2. Explicitly vested in the police commissioner, independent of the executive magistrate's concurrence. One is not correct maybe. So 2 and 3 can be correct. Okay, 2 and 3. I will choose B. Yes, B is the correct answer. The Act prohibits, Assam Police Act 2007. The Act prohibits any political party from creating private volunteer process, and so on. Okay. CRPC section 144 CRPC remains with the executive magistrate. Okay, that's why one is incorrect. Executive magistrate what areas no? Executive magistrate. Regarding the Assam Right to Public Services Act 2012, the Act mandates that every designated public servant must provide notified services within a stipulated time limit. Failure to provide services allows for a suo motu disciplinary inquiry against the concerned officer. Babare, the Act does not provide for compensation for the citizen for the delay in the delivery of services. The Act doesn't provide for compensation to the citizen for the delay in the delivery of services. এইটোতো নহ'ব delay হ'লেতো compensation ভৰিবই লাগিব. So 1 and 2 can be correct. A. Yes. A is correct. Regarding the Assam State Council for Climate Change, it is chaired by the Governor of Assam. Council for Climate Change, Governor. Climate Change. Governor recording again. Its mandate includes maintenance, mainstreaming climate adaptation into all state-level infrastructure projects. It all state-level infrastructure. It has the power to recommend a climate budget for different departments of the state government. It has the power to recommend a climate budget for different departments of the state government. 3 to correct kobo. Something answer for climate change no. I think 3 to correct kobo lagi, but it is said by Governor of Assam. I don't think this is correct. Its mandate includes mainstreaming climate adaptation into all state-level infrastructure projects. Okay, 2 and 3. I will go for 2 and 3. Okay, B. Yes, B. Governor ki climate change or chairman. The chief minister is the chair of the state council for climate change. Okay. Regarding the Assam Reorganization Meghalaya Act, that is 1969. Yes, Assam Reorganization, that was Meghalaya 1969. No, and its legal aftermath. The Act provided for the permission of an autonomous state within the state of Assam with the final creation of Meghalaya as a full-fledged state. Yes, this is correct. Autonomous state as later, but only Meghalaya to many extraordinary. Mandation is no. The Act granted the autonomous state legislature specific powers of the police and public order in the hill districts. The Act granted the autonomous state legislature specific powers of the police and the public order in the hill districts. Okay, the Supreme Court in the Birubari Union case defined the constitutional limits of the Parliament's power to recognize these specific northeastern territories. The Birubari Union case to yaar logot nahi neki to district autonomous council or autonomous state. So the Birubari Union case defined the constitutional limits of the Parliament's power to recognize this. Yes, Parliament's power. Ito hobo gote kita hobo all. D. Oh, only one. Hey, correct. Full hole. Salah Meghalaya বিষয় না জানো. Oh my god. Read it as some organization that is this act. mm, 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 mm. This act provided for the permission of autonomous state within the state. Oh yes, this is only one correct. The act granted the autonomous state legislature specific powers over the specific over the police or the districts. Specific power over the police. Police or broad power here control. Itu tuh no. Police. The Supreme Court in the Berabari Union case defined the constitutional limits. I don't know. Okay. Even as an autonomous state, public order and police remained under the control of the present state of Assam. Okay, Assam. Assamatory is incorrect. Berabari deal with this with international territory cession. Berabari dealt with international territory cession, not northeastern state organization or international territory, international borderline. No. Concerning the Assam tea plantations provident fund and the pension fund scheme, Act 955. Wow, man, purani hotse no. It is a state-specific act that operates independently of the central employees provident funds and miscellaneous provisions 952. Okay, hobo pare. The Board of Trustees under the Act includes representatives from the tea garden management, state government, and workers. However, the Act allows the board to invest portion of the provident fund money in state infrastructure projects with prior government approval. All already the whole D. Only two have left. That allows the board to invest a portion of the Assam tea plantations. Oh, okay. Tomorrow নিজৰে ভুল হ'ল ন মই মানে টি প্লান্টেশ্যনৰ কি ষ্টেট ফাংচনত কিয় হেৰি কৰিব দিয়ে ইনফ্ৰাষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ প্ৰজেক্টত ইন ষ্টেট ইনফ্ৰাষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ প্ৰজেক্ট নট পচিবল. The investment of fund is governed by strict statutory guidelines, Ministry of Finance, Labor, and can be divided to generate state infrastructure projects at the board's discretion. Okay. Regarding the Assam Town and Council Planning Act 959, the master plan prepared under this act for a town is legally binding on all state government departments. Assam Town operated within the town's jurisdiction. Legally binding on all state government departments operated within that town's jurisdiction, operating within that town's jurisdiction. The Act empowers the development authority to acquire land without fault the right of fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, rehabilitation, and it is not possible. So 2 is not possible. So the state government has the power to overrule a general plan if it is deemed necessary for the national security. It to boy 3 to correct boy. So 1 and 3 are correct. So A. Yes. Okay. I don't need to see it again. Consider 4 estimates regarding Assam public premises eviction of unauthorized occupants. Okay, 971 eviction to Bodon Sulias 971 hectare no eviction of unauthorized occupants. Okay, Assam public premises. An state officer appointed under this act acts as a quasi-judicial authority. Okay, hobo pare. Judicial authority hobo niki jitu officer to state officer to সম্পদের officer. An appeal against the order of an state officer can be filed directly with the Guwahati High Court within 30 days. Order of an state officer. Okay, this can also be valid. The Act defines public premises to include any premises belonging to state-owned corporations not just government offices. And it defines that is public premises means what? Any premises belonging to state-owned corporations, not just government offices. Okay, public premises হলে to কাৰে ক'ব লাগে no? Any premises belonging to state-owned corporations. Yes, itu correct হ'ব, তিনিটো correct হ'ব, এটা correct. Officers appointed under this act are quasi-judicial authority. Quasi-judicial হ'ব নোৱাৰে নেকি? State officer. An appeal against the order of an state officer can be filed directly to Guwahati High Court. So এইটোতো নহ'ব 1 and 3 হ'ব B. Yes, this is the correct answer. Directly Guwahati University Guwahati High Court যাব এইটো অলপ বেলেগ হয় ন appellate authority designated no order lies with the appellate authority designated by the state government not related to the High Court. Okay, যোনটো কিবা against যোনটো ফাইল কৰিব লগা আছে appeal regarding Assam's 6 civil and district council courts. The High Court has no jurisdiction over the suits and cases tried by the village courts in the autonomous districts. High Court has no jurisdiction over the suits and cases. No, itu নহয়. Itu full. The district council courts are not bound by the Code of Civil Procedure, Criminal Procedure. Bound. Are not bound. District council courts. District council courts are not bound by the Code of Civil Procedure and Code of Criminal Procedure. The governor can confer specified powers over civil court over the district council courts 3 to correct hoy and confer specified powers over civil court over the High Court has no jurisdiction over the suits and cases tried by the village courts in the autonomous districts. The suits and cases tried by the village courts in the autonomous districts. To correct wasn't like yes, no? The district council courts are not bound by the Code of Civil Procedure, Criminal Procedure. It too full of so 1 and 3 are correct. 1 and 3 C. Oh sorry, all are correct. But brain. Man power this is the Okay, all are correct. The district high court jurisdiction over suits and cases tried to village courts. The High Court has no jurisdiction. Okay, over the suits and cases tried by the village courts in the autonomous districts. The district council courts are not bound. District council courts are not bound by the Code of Civil Procedure 1908 and the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. The governor can confer specified powers of a civil court up to the district council courts. Okay, all are correct. Okay. Concerning the Assam Legislative Assembly and privileges, the Committee of Privileges has the power to summon a citizen for a breach of privilege, even if the act was committed outside the Assembly. Committee of Privileges has the power to summon a citizen for a breach of privilege, even if the act was committed outside the Assembly. Committee of Privilege. Hobo na নহয় outside Assembly outside. Hobo. A breach of privilege of the Assembly is justiciable by the Supreme Court under Article 32. Itu justiciable hobo niki? Article 32 কি আছে? Constitutional remedies, no? A breach of privilege Assembly is justiciable, non-justiciable, justiciable by the breach of privilege, no? Breach of privilege of the Assembly. Justiciable. Oh, itu correct. This one is correct. Two is correct. The assembly can punish a person for contempt of the house, even if the action does not strictly fall under a defined breach of privilege. Itu no breach of privilege. The answer to likely, but I didn't notice that. Okay, means I couldn't understand what was written there. কোনটো হ'ব দে টুটো correct হ'ব দে the assembly can punish a person for contempt of house even if the action does not strictly fall under a. Okay, three can be correct, two can be correct. The committee of privilege has the power to summon a citizen for a breach of privilege even if the court was committed outside the assembly. All are correct. Oh no, only the one which I chose correct to be correct mostly that was wrong. The breach of privilege of the assembly is justiciable. The breach of privilege the assembly is justiciable by the Supreme Court under Article. While the courts can examine the legality of legislative action, the determination of what constitutes contempt or breach of privilege is largely the executive domain of the House. Executive domain of the House. Regarding the Assam Excise Act 2000, that prohibits the issuance of a legal license within a specific radius of any educational institution or place or ship defined by the state rules. Yes, the excise commissioner can suspend a license without a prior showcase notice if the situation requires immediate public order intervention. Yes, this can be also correct. The act explicitly exempts home consumption within prescribed limits for the requirement of a license. And the act explicitly exempts home consumption within prescribed limits. The requirement. This is not correct. 1 and 2 are correct. It is A. All are correct. Okay. In a hurry. I answer it in a hurry. The Act, Assam Excise Act 2000, the Act explicitly exempts home consumption within prescribed limits, okay, from the requirement of a license. Okay. Correct. Provisions found in the Excise Act and its regulatory framework in Assam concerning Assam's participation in the GST Council. Goods and Services Tax. The state's voting power in the GST Council is proportional to its gross state domestic product (GSDP) share in the national total. The state's voting power in the GST Council is proportional to its gross state share at the national level. Voting power GST Council is proportional. No. Any decision regarding the tax rate requires a majority of not less than 3/4 of the weighted votes of the members present and voting. State councilor no, state councilor 3/4 or BC lage. 3/4 or কম হলে নহয় no. Requires a majority of not less than 3/4 the weighted votes of the members. 3/4 or 3/4. The tax rate requires a majority. The Union Finance Minister is the ex-officio chairman of the council. Union Finance Minister. GST Union Finance Minister, GST Councillor. Ex officio chairman, just a councillor. I do not know. What will I choose? Regarding the majority resident reports, voting power is the council is proportional to the. Okay, I will choose for 2 and 3. Let it be B. Yes, B a correct goal. মানে voting power is the council proportional হ'ব নোৱাৰেতো. So I choose 2 and 3. Any decision regarding the text requires majority not less than 3/4 overweighted votes of the members present and voting. Okay, present or voting 3/4. Okay. The BC হ'ব লাগিব ন বা 3/4 হ'ব লাগিব. The Union Finance Minister ex officio chairman of the GST Council. Okay. Regarding Assam's implementation of Forest Rights Act 2006, the Gram Sabha is the primary authority for initiate the process of determining community forest rights. Gram Sabha. Yes. The act grants the right of ownership and access to minor forest produce to forest dwellers and traditional forest dwellers. Yes. The state government has the power to override the Gram Sabha's recommendation for forest land diversion for large-scale development projects. Oh, no. Has the power to overrule? No, not possible. 1 and 2 only. A. Yes. Regarding Assam's disaster management framework, the district magistrate is the ex officio chairman of the chairperson of the district magistrate disaster management authority. The district magistrate is the ex officio chairman of district disaster management authority. Yes, the DDMM has the district district disaster management authority has the mandate to integrate disaster risk reduction into the district's prospective development plan. Yes. The National Disaster Response Force can be deployed in the state only after the written request of the Chief Secretary. I don't think this is correct. It means disaster manager ক্ষেত্ৰত state আৰু national এটা মানে ভাৰ এটা কোন serious কিবা connection একেলগে কাম কৰে বুলি পাইছো ন 1 and 2 only. I will choose 1 and 2 A. I will choose A, not D. Yes, A is correct answer. Okay. With coordination is required. Yeah, coordination come kore no cooperative. No, the deployment of NDRF, that is National Disaster Response Force. Okay, National Disaster Response Force. For major catastrophes can be initiated by the Central Home Minister. Minister of Home Affairs directly under the Disaster Management Act. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me take a little break. Consider the following. DC Watwa. Oh, sorry. Answer to Sonedi. CSL niki into ekone. DC Watwa versus State of Bihar. Reported promulgation of ordinances. Keswananda Bharati Doctrine of Basic Structure. Itu correct hoy. State of Assam. KC Vishwas 60 Judicial Jurisdiction. Which of the above are correctly matched with their fundamental legal principle relevant to okay APSC or Indian polity. Fundamental principle relevant to correctly matched question now above are correctly matched. Oh, all of the above beta to hoye correct. D do. Yes, D correct hoy gol. My answer to C hon sina dekha pon sina paislu kintu moi misago thapone de kakko jodi sai asa DC Wadhwa versus State of Bihar promulgation of ordinances repealed promulgation of ordinances Kiswana Party is a doctrine of basic structure State of Assam versus KC Vishwas State six schedule jurisdiction six schedule judicial jurisdiction all are correct সময় নাই বহুত লেট হৈ আছে assertion Assam State Finance Commission has the mandate to suggest measures to improve the financial position of the panchayat. Assam State Finance Commission has the mandate to suggest measures to improve the financial position of the panchayats. Okay. 17th Constitutional Amendment Act makes it mandatory for the state to constitute the Finance Commission every 5 years, but the recommendations are strictly binding with the state government. Strict to no. Assam Finance Commission has the one is true. Third Amendment makes it mandatory for the state to constitute the Finance Commission every 5 years, but the recommendations are strictly binding on the state. No. One is true, but are is false. See how? Yes. See how? Pakina saw man homine. Regarding the 6th schedule, paragraph 12A, that is, if any provision of a law made by the district council is repugnant, dislike, no, to any provision of a law made by the state legislature, the state law shall prevail. 6th schedule, no, paragraph 12. If any provision of a law made by the district council is repugnant to any provision of a law made by the state legislature, the state law shall prevail. State law prevail korbo niki. And the governor has the power to direct that any act of parliament shall not apply to an autonomous district. No, two correct hobo nore. So state legislature jitu law itu dangor hobo na district council ke. Okay, one is correct, two is not correct. So only one is correct. Only one, that is B. Sorry, both are correct bole. Full hole mane. If any provision of a law made by the it to correct or no made by the district council is repugnant by any provision by the state legislature, the state law will prevail. Okay. The governor has the power to direct. Governor power. Asida mane any that any act by the parliament shall not apply to an autonomous district. Autonomous district or parliamentary law kamot niribo guru pora power ase. Okay. Analytical challenge. In the Assam-Nagaland border dispute, the Supreme Court has emphasized the constitutional boundary. About historical traditional claims, what is the legal basis for this? Article 3 of the Constitution, the Northeastern Areas Reorganization Act 1971. The original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court under Article 131, both C and B and C. Article 3 reorganization gasel na eta ki bisarise ba Northeastern Areas Organization Act 971 এইটো হ'ব লাগে 71 এইটো হ'ব বিটো হ'ব আৰু এইটো চিও হ'ব চ' ডি হ'ব এইটো য়েছ বিটো হ'লে আৰু ডিটো হৈয়ে যাব ন বি হ'লে চিটো হৈয়ে যাব the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court Article 131 regarding Assam fiscal responsibility and budget management ever BM the act requires the state to prepare a medium term fiscal policy statement annually to give us some fiscal responsibility budget management that requires that state has to prepare a medium term fiscal policy statement okay হ'ব পাৰে because this is a direct outcome of the 15 Finance Commission's conditional grants for state fiscal performances. Okay, এইটো but in true or is the correct explanation of A? এইটো did you? A did you? No. A is true but R is false বোলে. Okay, এইটো বহুত মানে important question হয় ভালে questionটো. These are direct errors to state prepare medium term fiscal policy statement annually. Okay, medium term fiscal policy statement annually. This is a direct outcome of the 15 Commission. 15 Commissioner to কেনেকা outcome হ'ব no 15 to 15 গ'লে 16 or 16 হ'ব to middle term annual no so this is not okay false because the ABRM that is কি আছিলে ABRM finance এইটো কি আছিলে fiscal responsibility and budget management fiscal responsibility and budget management act predates the specific conditional grants of the 15th Finance Commission. It stems from broader fiscal management reforms. Assam Forest Regulation 1891, the following green zones is legally accurate. Green zone হৈ গৈছে তাৰ মানে তাত যদি লগাই দিলে জ্বলি যাব নেকি The state can acquire private land for reserved forest status without paying compensation if it is for environmental necessary. The definition of forest produce includes charcoal but excludes mineral oil even if found inside the forest boundary. Charcoal, okay. Mineral oil to exclude কৰিব নহ'ব. An officer of the forest department can exercise police powers of arrest without a warrant for all criminal offences. No. The appellate authority for the forest defense offences is the district court. Now, private land were reserved without paying compensation for. The state can acquire private land for reserved forest status without paying. এইটো হয় আগৰ নিচিনা চ' এইটো কাৰেক্ট হ'ব বিটোহে কাৰেক্ট হ'ল বোলে গ্ৰিজন হ'লেতো এই কয়লা থৈলা সেইবিলাকে হ'ব ন চাৰ্কল None of the forest produce includes charcoal but excludes mineral oil even if found inside the forest boundary. Charcoal মানে এইটো sorry কিমান আছিলে 56 57 57, 57, 56, okay. Ever 57, no. 57 already done, no? Okay, 56 done. Circle produce কৰিব পাৰে ন, কিন্তু মিনাৰেল চিনাৰেল হেৰি কৰিব নোৱাৰে ন, এইটো গ্ৰিজন বুলি কয়। Okay, ভালকৈ চাব। Accurate legal distinction. Mineral gas falls under separate industrial mining regulation, not forest regulation. As follows: compensation is mandatory. Compensation দিবই লাগিব মানে। Private land question, no? Private land regulation. If forest powers are limited to forest offenses, powers are limited to forest police lot kota nai is false. Appeals usually lie with the divisional forest officer, not conservator. District court lot হেৰি নহয়, forest officer lot divisional. 57. If the Assam State Biodiversity Board identifies specific species for treating status, what is the legal consequences for an existing infrastructure project in that area? Treating stand, the project is automatically halted under the Biodiversity Act. The project must seek a biodiversity impact assessment before continuing. The National Biodiversity Authority takes over the land management. No consequence as the Wildlife Protection Act takes precedence. Assam State Biodiversity Board, the project must seek a biodiversity impact assessment before continuing. Specific species for treating wildlife consequences, okay. As the Wildlife Protection Act takes precedence. No, that is B. B hobo. Yes, B hobo. The biological diversity mandates impact assessments for projects that may affect local biodiversity, bridge the gap between developmental clearance and ecological conservation. Following Assam Autonomous District Administration Justice rules, appeals from the District Council courts lie to the High Court if the case involves a question of law. Assam Autonomous District appeals from the District Council courts lie to the High Court if the case involves a question of law. Law to law, No. The District Council courts are authorized to handle criminal cases under the APSC, Indian Penal Code. পাইছিলোঁ এইবিলাক বস্তু অলপ অলপ, কিন্তু ভালকৈ মনত নাই। পাৰেতো পাৰে কেছ কৰিব পাৰিব, এইটো কাৰেক্ট হ'ব। লাইজ উইথ দ্য হাই কোৰ্ট ইফ দ্য কেছ ইনভলভছ আ কুৱেশ্যন অফ ল। No, only 2 is correct. I will give only 2 D. Both are correct বোলে। 2 correct গম পাইছোঁ, handle কৰিব পাৰে criminal case. So I was from the District High Court lie to the High Court if the case involves question of law. Okay, law মানে অলপ মানে question মানে doubtful হ'ব ন, সেইটো মানে District Council court নকৰিব পাৰে। The rules allowed for limited application of the IPCs and formalized the appellate of the Guwahati High Court prevent legal vacuum. Another question: why did the Assam Official Language Act 1960 contain a special provision for a Kasar district? Due to the provisions of the State Organization Act 1956, as a direct result of the 1960 language movement violence, okay. To comply with the mandate of Article 351, 350 Structure of Mother Tongue, about with the okay. কোনটো হ'ব কাছাৰ ডিষ্ট্ৰিক্টত যে বাংলা ভাষা due to the provisions of the State Reorganization Act 1956 এইটোতো হ'ব নালাগে কাছাৰতো আসামতে আছে ন as a direct result of the 1960 language movement violence the mandate of the article 350A instruction of the mother tongue চি হ'ব থুত জালা চিও নহয় ডাইৰেক্ট ভায়োলেন্সৰ 1960 language movement violence okay the special provision for Kasar Bengali uses which political compromise is no to constitutional no ways to quell the large scale ethnic riots and language movement protests erupted in 1960 regarding 16th Finance Commission with fiscal stress parameter is most likely to affect Assam's devolution negatively Finance Commission no high debt to GSDP ratio high debt to GSDP ratio low tax to GSDP ratio population growth demographic parameter high revenue deficit most likely to affect Assam's devolution negatively high revenue deficit high debt to GSDP ratio versus domestic product or debt ratio low tax to GSDP ratio নহয় এটাতো বিটো হ'ব নালাগে population growth demographic performance এ হ'ব population হে মানে নাজানো ভালকে population Finance Commissions increasingly use demographic performance in incentivizing lower population growth incentivizing lower population growth তো হলে তো ভালে কিন্তু দেখুন দুটা তিনটা বিয়া পাতিবা দিছে population grow হে কৰিব দিছে CMA কি যে হ'ব as a criterion Assam's population growth rates compared to the national average often potential a specific calculation parameter okay speed up guys speed up regarding the Assam State Finance Commission and its relationship with the 16th Finance Commission okay the 16th Finance Commission has mandated that states must demonstrate the timely constitution and the submission of reports by their respective state finance commissions as a condition for receiving local body grants. Demonstrate the timely constitution and submission. Okay. What the 16th Finance Commission introduces 10% weighted for demographic performance in its horizontal devolution formula. This is specifically calculated based on population growth between 1971 to 2011 rather than total fertility rate. Whereas demographic performance horizontal devolution formula is specifically calculated based on population growth between total fertility rate. I don't think this is going to be correct. Total fertility rate is decreased now, so this cannot be correct. So only one is correct. One is correct. Only one is C. Both are correct. No, both are correct. This one. So ভুল হৈ গ'ল হ'ল আৰু okay. Assam Official Language Act 1960. The provision of the use of the Bengali language in the Kashmir district was an original feature of the act intended to address the language movement tensions. Yes, original feature of the act yes, because the article 345 of the constitution provides the legislative competence for a state to adopt one or more languages in use in the state as the official language. 345 ত আছে না নাই নাজানো, both correct হ'ব A দি দিওঁ. A is correct, R is true, but both A are true, but R is not a correct explanation of সেইটোতো হ'ব লাগিছিলে, but মই বিয়া কৰি দিলোঁ বস্তুটো ভালকৈ হেৰি নকৰিলোঁ. এইটো বিকজ এইটো কৈছে বেলেগ ন, ইণ্টেণ্ট কৰা কৈছে ন, এক্ট ইণ্টেণ্ট টু এড্ৰেছ দ্য লেংগুৱেজ মেইনটেনশ্যন 960, কাৰণ এইটোত আছে সেইটোৰ লগত নিমিলে ন, এইখিনিত কনষ্টিটিউশ্যনত আছে, এইটো কম্পিটেন্স ষ্টেট এডপ্ট ওৱান অৰ মোৰ লেংগুৱেজেছ আছে, সেইটোৰ কাৰণে নহয়. য়েছ, ৰিগাৰ্ডিং দ্য ভিজিলেন্স 345 আছিল ন, দুটা তিনিটা লেংগুৱেজ ইউজ কৰিব পাৰে ন. Regarding the village defense organization, VDP members are legally empowered to conduct formal criminal investigations. No, this is not correct. One is not correct. One is not correct. One is not correct. The village defense organization functions under the administrative control of the Director General of Assam Police. Administrative General. Under the administrative control of the Director General of Assam. Director General of Police. No, both are incorrect. B. Only 2 is correct. 2 bole correct. Mane under the control administrative control of the Director General of Director General of Police DGP. Okay. So bole thakil na DGP under the PDP club papre. Legal context, 6 jurisdictional limits. Goa High Court has had the 6th schedule provides a distinct framework for the administration of tribal areas. It is contexted with the following is to regulate the powers of autonomous district councils. Autonomous district councils possess absolute non-renewable authority or non-renewable authority up to codify customary laws, excluding High Court jurisdiction. Yes, বুলি ক'ব লাগিল দে, ময়ো এইটো ভালকৈ নাজানো, মানে বহুতবাৰ পাইছোঁ তথাপিও অলপ ডাউট থাকে. Possess absolute non-reviewable authority to codify customary laws. Yes, this is correct. Correct হবে to. The 6 still permits that is autonomous district councils to act independently of the state legislature, independently of the state legislature in all civil and criminal matters. Itu all বুলি কৈছে ন, allটো নহ'ব. Guwahati High Court, okay. Guwahati High Court's landmarks extend to jurisdictional matters in tribal areas, confirming its procedural rigor and constitutional limits apply. কি কৈছে এইটো কাৰেক্ট কৈছে ন, 6 jurisdictional limit কৈছে ন, context. High Court's landmarks extend to jurisdictional matters in tribal areas, providing that procedural rigor and the constitutional limits apply. Extend to jurisdictional matters in tribal areas, provided that procedural rigor and the constitutional limits apply. সেইটো বহুত বেছি লিগেল লাগিছে. এট ইজ এ প্ৰচেছ এবচলুটটো হ'ব নোৱাৰে ন. 6 permits act independently the state legislature in laws নহয়, এইটো নহ'ব. চ' চিয়ে হ'ব লাগে. য়েছ, এবচলুট দিছে, কিবা দিছে. Guwahati High Court maintains 6 offers a separate administrative scheme. It doesn't create a judicial vacuum, and courts retain jurisdiction over jurisdictional and legal challenges. Riga, the National Commission for Minorities, okay, and its state level counterparts. The National Commission for Minorities is a constitutional body. No, it is statutory body. Uh, Minority to National Commission. Statutory or executive body হয় constitutional body নহয়, like the National Commission for Minority, some state commission for minorities acts as a statutory body to safeguard minority rights. Yes, two is correct. A is false, but R is true. But they are false. B and R are true. Both and R are true. কি হবে এটা মানে minorities is a constitutional body established under article এইখিনি constitutional body তো নহয়, like the National Minority Commission, the Assam State Commission for Minorities acts as a statutory body to safeguard minority rights. Yes, 2 is correct, but A is false, R is true. Oh, it have a C. Yes, C. Okay, answer. I didn't see answer. Okay. 16 Finance Commission, Fiscal Discipline. Fiscal measures is explicitly recommended by the 16th Finance Commission about period 26 to 31. Oh, Fiscal Finance Commissioner to service of 31 বছৰ হ'ব না period. Continuation of budget borrowings to support rural infrastructure. Cap it state fiscal deficit at 3% of GSDP. Exclusive focus on total factor weighted based demographic incentives. Discontinuation of all performance based grants. Focus. এইটোহে চি হ'ব চি নহয়. Fiscal measure explicitly recommend the commission that is B, capping the state fiscal deficit. Yes, capping the state fiscal deficit at 3% of gross state domestic product. Okay, 3% হেৰি কৰিব লাগিব না, কেপ কৰিব লাগিব, ধৰি ৰাখিব লাগিব. Keep the state fiscal deficit at 3% of GSDP and strictly discontinuing of budget borrowings. What's the estimates? Assam official language in 1960. The act mandates that all regulations and bylaws issued by the state government must be published in the Assam Gazette Assamese language. State government must be published in Assam Gazette in the Assamese language. Mandates that all regulations and laws and bylaws issued by the state. No, this is not correct. Bengali as is it, yeah. The act prohibits the use of English for official purpose at the secretariat once the act is enforced. No, both are incorrect. Both are incorrect. B. Only one is correct. One black correct. The act mandates that all regulations and issued by the state must be published in Assam Gazette. Must be published in Assam Gazette or Assam Gazette dot publish হ'ব লাগিব. Assam Gazette কি আছিল? Assam Gazette newspaper ন? In Assamese language কৈছে ন? Assam Gazette publish হোৱাৰ কথা কৈছে. ভালকে মনত নিদিলোঁ ন? Use in English secretary and the specific language. That prohibits the use of English. Prohibit নকৰে না, allow কৰে না English. Regarding the horizontal devolution formula of the Finance Commission, which is false. Following is false question now. The parameter of tax and fiscal effort used by the 15th Finance Commission has been removed. Tax and fiscal effort used by the finance removed. Contribution to GDP has been assigned 10% weightage. Demographic performance now uses population growth data from 71 to 11. Itu correct one, no? 1971 to 11. Forest and ecology has been recovered from the territory. Itu not correct. Itu D hobo. Yes, this is the correct answer. Itu forest or ecology kyo atora nidin hoy. The Assam official language 960 English in APSC examinations. What is the status of this provision? Oh. Assam Official Language Act 1960 provides for the use of English in APSC examinations. It is a perpetual and cannot be amended. It is valid only until such time as the use of English is permissible under Article 343. It was repealed by the 2024 Amendment Act. It applies to preliminary examinations. Yes, D hobo. ঠিক জানলা কিবা কথা বুঝিয়ে নাপালো কিবা কি APSC English ব্যৱহাৰ কৰোঁতে ন that is it is valid only until such time as the use of English is permissible under Article 343. The Act specifies that English is used in APSC examinations continues only as long as its use is permissible under Article 343. নহ'ব পাৰে ন নহ'লে oh mandatory কথা কোৱা নাই না prelims method যে পাৰে এইটো নহয় মেজতে কৰিব পাৰে okay which of the following not different function or duty of the village PDP okay answer to ওলাই গৈছে but maybe B দিল না D দিল I have confused assisting the police in preventing and detecting crime হ'ব পাৰে conducting which not question not different no conducting formal investigations into formal investigation contact কৰিব নোৱাৰে so এটোই হ'ব B yes PDP he police নহয় না formal justice investigation justice to judge দিব investigation কৰাটো police কৰিব but PDP cannot but PDP can only patrolling কৰিব পাৰে পুলিচক সাপোর্ট কৰিব পাৰে আৰু আন্ডাৰ কি হৈ থাকে DGP মানে ডাইৰেক্টৰ জেনেৰেল অফ পুলিচ ন a conflict arises between a tribal custom regulated by ADC and a right granted under Article 3 of the Constitution. How is this adjudicated? What is of the sixth seal? Okay. Fundamental right or no tribal custom or fundamental right. The sixth seal paragraph 3 grants total immunity to the ADC, making custom absolute. The High Court the High Court exercises its power for judicial review under Article 226 to balance the custom against the fundamental right, and the sixth seal doesn't exclude but 3. Yes, the government has the sole authority to strike down. No, the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes acts as the final adjudicating body. Nah, the High Court exercises its power of judicial review under 226 to balance the custom against the fundamental right, as the sixth seal doesn't exclude but 3. Yes, B is the correct answer. Yes. The Assam Forest Regulation 1891 for the seizure of tools and vehicles used the Commission for a Forest Offense. tools and vehicles, and stealing of timber, forest timber. Okay. Uh, this is what. Okay. This power is absolute, and the court cannot grant bail for the release of the seized vehicle until the final adjudication of the forest case. Forest regulation allows for the seizure of tools and vehicles used in commission for the Foreign Office. Because this power is absolute and the court cannot grant bail for the release of the seized vehicle until there is no. What are correct? Correct explanation of A hobo. A is true but R is false. R false. Okay, no problem. The power is absolute. Oh, absolute believe no. That makes the statement incorrect. Absolute, nothing is absolute, and the court cannot grant bail for the release of the seized vehicle to the file. No. False, because courts and authorized officers have the discretion to release vehicles on supervisory bond, that is pending trial. Oh, the vehicles can be released on supervisory bond pending trial, subject to specific conditions. Okay, subject to specific conditions. Don't worry, no. Analytical, that is interplay of Land Acquisition Act 2013 and the Assam Land Revenue Regulation. In a project involving land acquisition for a state highway passing through a presented belt, the correct. The Land Acquisition Act, Land Assam Land and Revenue Regulation. Okay, Act 2013 automatically supersedes the protected belt restrictions of the N86 regulation. Automatically. Education in a project involving a land acquisition for a state highway passes through a protected belt. Okay. Automatically restriction is supersedes the protected belt restrictions. I do not think so. Acquisition must satisfy both the L Act limitation norms and protected belt restrictions requiring pre-government permissions for diversion. It will no. It be home. B yes. অলপ আলোচনা হ'ব লাগিব ন ডাইৰেক্ট আৰু ক'ত ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট বস্তু হয় non-compliance in Assam Public Services conduct rules. Okay, if a government servant is found to have disclosed official information that is not classified but leads to political controversy, which is most likely would have the 965 rules, the servant is protected by the right to information framework. The servant is liable for disciplinary action for conduct unbecoming of a government servant. Is liable for disciplinary action for no action at the information classified secret or confidential, no action as the information was not classified as secret or confidential. It keeps and some public service conditions, if the servant is found to have disclosed official information that is not classified. Not classified but leads to political controversy. No action as the information was not classified as secret or confidential. It was C. No, this is not C. This is B itself. The servant is liable for disciplinary action. Confidential নহলেও political controversy he has to be what called liable for what called undisciplinary action. Okay. We get the Assam Official Language Act 1960 and Barak Valley. But does the act not apply to the hill districts? Same way it applies to the Brahmaputra Valley. Because the hill districts were part of the autonomous state as the time of drafting no. Because the 6th hill grants the autonomous district council's power to determine language distribution. Because the State Organization Act 1956 explicitly excluded hill districts. This is not correct. Nothing is correct, I think. Hills District, the same way it applies to the Brahmaputra Valley. Okay, because the sixth schedule grants the autonomous district councils language or broad autonomous state drafting no, because the State Organization Act explicitly excluded the hill districts. Yes, see hobo. Yeah, be a hold on. Is a tan disabled to Sixth schedule grants the autonomous district councils the power to determine the language of administration within the এইটো তো correct হয় কথাটো but এইটো ক্ষেত্ৰত অলপ মানে invalid যেন লাগিছিলে the sixth schedule grants this autonomous district council the power to regulate matters but to the internal administration including the language used in district courts and administrative offices. Scenario community forest rights claim under the Forest Rights Act 2006 is recited by the subdivisional labor committee. What is the hierarchy of appeal? Oh, forest community forest right? No, forest right থাকে community. It's recited by the subdivisional level committee. District level committee. Which is the hierarchy of the appeal? What is the hierarchy? District level committee, state level committee. Ito নহয় High Court. They're related to the High Court under Article 226. They're to the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Ito kita DLC, district level council or subdivision as no. This is also final. It's the final authority. Ito ba dia no? Claim under the rejected. What is the hierarchy of appeal? Hierarchy of appeal hierarchy mane highest to no. Another secondary. Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Tribal Affairs over no. Yes, see. হয় কি যে বস্তুখিনি বুজি পোৱা নাই দেই district level committee hierarchy state level committee high court নাজানিলো বস্তুটো বুজি নাপালো so এইটো কিমান question আছিলে 676 so this makes incorrect the Forest Rights Act 2006 specifies a clear appellate path that the state case district level itu ki SDLC mane subdivisional level committee rejection that is division district level committee appeal that is state level committee final state level appellate authority judicial review give me Mr. With the Assam Excise Act 2000 can the excise commissioner revoke a license for social harm without a specific violation of the permit conditions? Can the excise commissioner revoke a license for social harm without a excise commissioner I don't know specific violation without a specific violation of the permit conditions? No, violation of the permit conditions is prerequisite for revocation. Okay. Yes, under the public order and social welfare clauses of act, if the commissioner records reasons is right. Only the state can revoke a license. State cabinet no. Only the civil court can revoke such license. No, B. Yes, B is the correct answer. Excess commissioner has power to revoke the license. Okay. Excess Act grants the commissioner broad powers to broad power to ensure the administration of the act includes the power to revoke licenses if the business activity is deemed detrimental to public order, health, and social well-being. Okay, legal analysis Article 371p that is Assam no. special provision for Assam. Thus, Article B 371B empowered the state to create a committee of the Legislative Assembly to create a committee of the Legislative Assembly specific for the members representing the tribal areas. Oh my God, অলপ বস্তুটো critical হৈ গ'ল ন? Thus, Article 371B empowered the state to create a committee of the state Legislative Assembly specifically for the members representing the tribal areas. Okay. Yes, of course. Yes, the president can order the constitution and the function of the state committee. Yes, B. Yes, B. Yes, B. Committee to one over, no? Okay. Even autonomous district council passes a regulation that violates the right to equality. Okay, put in article number 14. Can the High Court can the God High Court straighten? কি করে তোমার? বিছানা চিনি খাবা? চিনি খাবা? বেয়া পালে নেকি? ইমান আঘাত লাগিল নেকি? খালি চিনিয়ে খায় আমাৰ ঘৰত। ইমান চাহ খাই দুইবাৰ তিনিবাৰ তাকো মিঠা। ইফালে দেহাৰ নাই অৱস্থা। মোৰ লগত তুলনা কৰে। মই পঢ়া মানুহ ফিজিকেল কৰিব অসুবিধা হয় আৰু মই তথাপিও দেহাৰটো যতন লওঁ না। সিহঁতেতো গোটেই দিনতে টোপনি মাৰি থাকে। নন চেন্স নিচিনা কোনো এটা নলেজ নাই দেহা কেনেকৈ যতন ৰাখিব লাগে। Legal analysis, ito B হৈ গ'ল ন? 78B, okay. Now comes in an autonomous district council passes a regulation. Even autonomous district council passes a regulation that violates the right to equality. Right to equality, but can the High Court strike it down? No, paragraph 3 of the 6th schedule is beyond the reach of the High Court. হ'ব পাৰে। A right to equality, no, Article 14. Yes, the High Court can strike down. 6th schedule is a part of the Constitution and cannot override the basic structure. But with the prior approval of the Supreme Court, even the governor can strike it down. High Court পাৰে নপৰে। So এইটো High Courtৰ কথা গভৰ্ণৰৰ কথা নাই হাঁটা এই ধৰ্মে। So but the prior approval of the Supreme Court, High Court can strike it down as the 6th schedule is a part of. Yes, B is the correct answer. Yes, B is the correct answer. Yes, the High Court can strike it down as the 6th schedule is part of the Constitution and cannot override the basic structure. Okay. 16th Finance Commission and Assam budget. The 16th Finance Commission suggests that grants in aid under Article 275 should be related to specific outcome indicators. What is the implication for the Assam state budget? It makes the budget performance-based rather than input-based. Finance Commission and the Assam budget. 16th Finance Commission assessed the grants in aid under article should be led to specific outcome indicators, should be linked to specific outcome indicators. What is the implication of Assam state budget? Okay, answer I didn't see the answer. Okay, it makes the budget performance based rather than input based. It forces the state to decentralize all budgetary allocations to the panchayat level. Currency aid no panchayat level or it limits the state's borrowing power to amount of central grants. It has no impact. It's non-discretionary. I don't think CD have no impact for this. It makes the budget performance-based rather than grants and aid under article should be linked to specific outcome indicators. Application that is approaches the state to address all budgetary relations to the panchayat level. Force query, limit query makes the budget performance-based rather than input-based. I think A or B. What's the implication of the state budget? This will be A. A. Yes, A is the correct answer. A makes the budget performance-based rather than okay. Laying grants to outcome shifts the budgetary paradigm from mere spending inputs to verifiable inputs, verifiable results outcomes. The core requirement for fiscal discipline in the 2026 to 31 cycle. An autonomous district council enacts a regulation under paragraph 3 of the sexual allowing for the paragraph 3 of the sexual allowing for the commercial exploitation of minor minerals. Enacts a regulation under paragraph sexual for commercial exploitation of minor minerals. How it is complex with the minor minerals act minor distribution act minor mines and minerals development and regulation act okay enacted by parliament which legal principle applies. The sexual para 3 grants total autonomy, so the total autonomy no here hata hai. The doctrine of pit and substance must be applied by the High Court to determine if the regulation falls within the disease core legislative field. Okay, the Mines and Minerals Development Regulation Act automatically supersedes all. It is no, this is not. The governor has the sole power no to decide which law prevails and their decision is final. This is B. Pit and substance must be applied by the court to determine if the regulation falls within the disease core list P. Yes, B. Come on, B. Police analyzes which of the Forest Rights Act, that is Forest Rights Act, that have a constitutional supremacy in the context of wildlife conservation in Assam, because the Forest Rights Act is a central act and Wildlife Protection Act is state. Because the Forest Rights Act recognizes pre-existing rights of the Wildlife Protection Act seeks to regulate in the Forest Rights Act includes specific non-derogable provisions like Gram Sober consent for diversion. Because of the Guwahati High Court has ruled that forest dwellers have absolute ownership of minerals from beneath the forest. ये तो नहीं होता है, सी तो impossible है. Censorship, no, censorship supremacy in the context of wildlife censorship. Mr. X recognizes pre-existing rights of the Wildlife Protection Act, seeks to regulate and Forest Rights Act includes specific non-derogable provisions like crimes of consent for diversion. This Forest Rights Act Control Act, and that is B. Yes, B is the correct answer. As a property private recognizing rights that existed before Wildlife Protection Act to Wildlife Protection Act 973 no 971 no 73 971 Wildlife Protection 971 and it's a requirement for gram sober consent for land diversion in a gram sober permission like na permission consent purple Procedural safeguard and open prohibits production act-based forest clearance procedures. Legislative cap the Assam Land and Revenue Regulation in 86 doesn't explicitly define climate change mitigation as a public purpose for land acquisition. Uh, 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 um, Climate change does not explicitly define. If the state wants to acquire land for a carbon sink project, which law must it proceed again? It cannot acquire land for such. No. Uh, okay, land grants revenue regulation again. It must use the Land Acquisition Act 2013 directly as the 1886 regulation is obsolete. It can use the 1886 regulation but must integrate the social impact assessment and public purpose criteria mandated by the 2013 land acquisition regulation land acquisition land revenue regulation. It must pass a new state ordinance. It was C hobo. C come to be correct. That is Assam State Information Commission orders the disclosure of the file of a file whether to a high-profile state process the development reproduces in the Official Secrets Act. What is the legal position? The Legislature Official Secrets Act proposed as it is a colonial secret law. Ito ko ito correct ko lang. Section 22 of the RTI Act gives the right to Information Act as overriding effect over any other. No. Included there is a provision because specific exemption clause to the development has a parties no the system must seek the governance permission before embracing the order. Assam State Information Commission orders the disclosure of a file to a high-profile state project. The development report is citing the official. Uh, 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 uh. Oh, development report is citing a total novel. At the act, proper override effect law that is to be over BBB. Yes. At the key Section 22 of the RTI Act gives the RTI Act an overriding effect over any other law, including the Official Official Secret Act, Official Secrets Act, unless the information falls under the specific exemption clauses of Section 8. Okay. Policy conflict and ADC regulation imposes a trade fee on non-tribals, while the state government regulation imposes goods and services tax. Or the same goods, what is the legal outcome? Double taxation is prohibited by 265, so but avoid the GST constitutional tax under Article 246 will prevail over any fee imposed by an ADC. Okay, the ADC prevails because it is a special protection under the sexual the high go or the 50-50 split of the proceeds. The complete Domestic Council regulation imposes trade fee on no travels, while state government regulation imposes a goods and services tax on the same goods. Oh, fee imposed by then. এইটো এ হ'ব বি এ হ'ল কাৰেক্ট আনচাৰ বি 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 অ'কে ভুল হ'ল বুজি নাপালোঁ ভালকৈ কুৱেশ্যনটো দ্য জি এছ টি কনষ্টিটিউচনেল টেক্স আণ্ডাৰ আৰ্টিকল 246A will prevail over any fee imposed by এইটো ফিৰ কথা কৈছে না ট্ৰেড ফি আৰু জি এছ টিটো দিব লাগিব না ফিটো নিদিলেও কথা নিচিনা সেইটো জি এছ টি ইজ এ কনষ্টিটিউচনেল টেক্স আণ্ডাৰ আৰ্টিকল 246 জি এছ টিটো আণ্ডাৰ 246A আছে ন আৰ্টিকল which is a broader legislative power that overrides local trade fees. Okay. Tolls, local trade fees or tolls where the two regimes conflict over the same transaction. Administrative paradox. Under the Assam Police Act 2007, what happens if the Police Accountability Commission makes a recommendation against a police officer that the state government refuses to implement makes a recommendation against a police officer that a state government refuses to implement. The Police Accountability Commission can move the High Court for a writ of mandamus. The recommendation is binding, and the government's refusal is grounds for a vote of no confidence. The recommendation of Police Accountability Commission is only advisory unless the state has formally adopted the binding clause in its specific rules. See হ'ব ইমান এটা নাজানো বাট চিটোৱে হোৱা নিচিনা লাগিছে চ' চি দি দিলোঁ টাইম নাই 87 legislative nuance can a private university under the Assam Private University Act be exempted from the Right to Information Act on the grounds that it is private property? No. If the university receives substantial government funding of its category or is categorized as a public authority. Yes, private property is absolute. No. Only if the governor declares it so. If the UGC grants a special waiver. Okay. D over D. I will go for D. A hoy correct answer. Okay. To can a private university under the Assam Private University Act be exempted from the Right to Information Act? It no if the university receives substantial government funding or is categorized as a public authority. The public authority হয় ন এইটো পাব্লিক অথৰিটিৰ আণ্ডাৰত পৰে ন গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট এডুকেশ্যন এইটো তো এইটো ৰাইট টু ইনফৰমেশ্যন এক্টৰ ভিতৰত নপৰে তেতিয়াহ'লে নকওঁ দে কণ্ট্ৰভাৰ্চি নানো The RTA Act applies to public authorities. Okay. Courts have increasingly interpreted this to include private entities that are substantially funded or perform public-like functions. Conflict. The Assam Official Language Act mandates Assamese, but the Right to Education Act mandates mother tongue instruction. How is this resolved in a Barak Valley Government School? The school must teach in Assamese. The school must teach in English. The school must provide instruction with the mother tongue Bengalis, but observe with the official language act of the administrative purposes. The school is shut down. That is C, of course. Nobody cares about it. Everyone knows. The state government declares a declared area under the Assam Land and Revenue Regulation to prevent land alienation. Can a bank mortgage? Mortgage means bondhok. Bank mortgage and subsequently shall to reward bad loan from a tribal member. No, the sale of the land is protected belt, declared area, non-tribal prohibited but cash back without the prior state permission. That is B. Tribal মানুহটো এৰিয়াটো হেৰি ধৰে ন ট্ৰাইবেল বেল্টত আণ্ডাৰত পৰে so they cannot for what call recovering bad loan. Okay, they cannot. And article the The Sixth Finance Commission has proposed state finance commissions. Commissions be like a bill into the common for local governance. What is the implication? It standardizes the data reporting for the local bodies. The Finance Commission, that is State Finance Commission, linked to Common Portal for Local Governance. It standardizes the data reporting for local bodies. It removes the state's power to create funds or the boards. No, it was the union government to bypass the state government in funding local bodies. It allows the union government to bypass. No, it makes local bodies autonomous for the Panchayat Act. It makes local bodies autonomous. No, it is A. Yes. Okay. Come on. Regarding the Assam Land and Revenue Regulation 1886 and as amended, and the Scheduled Tribes Regulation for Forest Rights Act 2006. Okay, the record of rights prepared by a settlement officer under the N86 regulation is treated as superior to any record of forest rights issued by a Gram Sabha. The record of rights prepared by a settlement officer under the is treated as superior to any record of rights. Okay, maybe not. I don't think this is correct. Okay, not thinking too much. Too much is bad. The Guwahati High Court has clarified that in case of conflict between the two, the Press Rights Act 2006, being a later central legislation, prevails over the revenue records. Okay, two can be correct, but the record of rights prepared by a settlement officer and the reason entry as superior to the supposed act. No, one is not correct, so two is correct. Only two is correct. That is D. Yes, I did correct. Sexual and the trend of repugnancy means had dislike kind of means disqualifying kind of doctrine of repugnancy. Sexual and the doctrine of repugnancy is an autonomous district council purchase a regulation regarding the regulation of markets. The complex with the Assam Agricultural Produce Market Act, State Act. Target today, all of it come. The additional district, autonomous district council regulation automatically voids the state act in that district. That is doctrine repugnancy. Markets conflict Assam Agricultural Produce Act. The Guwahati High Court applies the doctrine of repugnancy under Article 254 to resolve the conflict. The Act shall prevails that is both Parliament and state legislatures. The ADC regulation prevails only if the perceived government's assent, was the State Act prevails. Governor's assent. D. Yes, D is the correct answer. বেশি ভাবে দরকার নেই no legislative conflict under the Assam Act 2007. The State Policy Accountability Commission is tasked with investigating complaints against police officers. If a complaint involves a officer of the rank of SP or above, can the Police Accountability Commission invoke its power to bypass the Home Department. No, that is purely recommendatory and must read all findings through the Home Department. Ito ho. Ito dim anyway. Okay. Right to Education versus sexual. Thus, Right to Education Act mandated the School Management Committee. Education is mandate the School Management Committee composing apply to committee composition apply to schools within the sexual areas. Yes, the RT is centralized and applies uniformly to all states. Yes. Yes. Only this in the division the Home Minister Human Resources. No. This is A. Oh no, this is not A. No, the autonomous district councils have the power to define the composition of educated school management committee to protect the tribal cultural identity. Oh, এইটো বেলেগ ধৰণৰ ট্ৰাইবেল কালচাৰেল আইডেণ্টিটি প্ৰটেক্ট কৰিবৰ কাৰণে স্কুলত হেৰি কৰে ন এইটো কি হৈছে ৰাইট টু এডুকেশ্যন এক্ট মেণ্ডেট এডুকেশ্যন এক্টটো মেণ্ডেট কৰিব নোৱাৰে ডাইৰেক্টলি ন There's a right to Education Act mandate the school management committee হেৰি কৰিব নোৱাৰে It should not apply to schools within okay বহুত কথা আছে ভিতৰে The Assam Official Language Act and Barakpali ইমান বাৰে দিছে কিয় চাৰিটামান দিছে citizen demands that yes a court still should be recorded Bengali president official outside an official language Assam the officer is correct the officer is correct Assam is the mandatory language for all no the officer is wrong oh ভালকে পঢ়িব লাগিব ন If a citizen demands that the court testimony is a lower court in Silsor be recorded in Bengali and the president officer denies it, citing the official language act Assamese. If a demands that their court testimony in the Silsor in Bengali or demands okay that should be in Bengali okay. Yes, the officer is correct. No, the officer is wrong. Yes, the 960 Act provides specific safeguards for the Bengali. Yes, B is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. Special Language Act naki asle Assam Official Language Act 1960 okay. Regarding Finance Commission and local governance, recommend the commissions Our recommendation for a common portal for local governance is intended to abolish the need for state-level audits, enable direct fund transfers from the union to panchayats, 16 Finance Commission, laying performance grants to real-time on tax collection, common portal, and service delivery, replace the need for state finance commissions, direct fund transfers for the union and panchayats portal. That is C. Under কথা নহব না link performance grants to real-time data on tax collection and service delivery okay 16 finance commissioner গিটকে common portal এটা আছে না recommend কৰিছে commissioner finance commissioner conflict analysis forest rights act and mining can a mining lease be granted in a forest after forester the forest rights act claims are still pending. No, the Supreme Court has consistently held that the process must be completed. The Gram Sabha consent. Yes, B is the very correct answer. So, legislative nuance are some Private Universities Act. A private university is exempt from the reservation policies of the state government. No. That is B. Yes. Baki no. No private universities are open record to adopt state reservation. Yes. Policies for permanent residence condition S. That is Article 371B related to Assam. Special provision for Assam. What is this? To protect Ahom dynasties, ensure that representatives from tribal areas in Assam Assembly have a dedicated committee for scrutiny to provide a separate budget for 6 areas to restrict land areas to non-tribals. Special version Assam. Why does exist? To protect the Ahom dynasty's heritage. নহয় এইটোতো একবাৰে নহয় that representatives from tribal areas at the Assam Assembly have a dedicated committee for scrutiny. Separate budget for the sexual area to restrict lens. Sexual কি কৈছে yes B হ'ব বাকী কেইটামান হেৰি নহয় constitutional mechanism that allows the president to create a committee of the legislative assembly composed of members representing tribal areas to ensure these regions have legislative oversight. Okay, 100 policy analysis. ASTP, Assam State Disaster Management Authority. Assam State Disaster Management Authority. What is the legal status of the disaster management plan provided by the district disaster management authority? Okay. It is a recommendation only. Oh, so what is the legal status of district management disaster management plan prepared by the district authority or district disaster management authority? It is a recommendation only. It is a legally binding recommended all local government departments must follow during a disaster. It is only applicable to the revenue. It is optional for private. No, it is B. It is binding document to follow by all the local government departments. Okay, during the time of disaster. Okay, let me count the score now. ভুল কেইটা হৈছে প্ৰথমে কোনো 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 49 ভুল হৈছে নেকি আকৌ এবাৰ কোনো 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 39 49 বুলি কৈছোঁ ন 39 যেটো হয় মানে 40 61 কাৰেক্ট হ'ব কিমান হ'ল এতিয়া 2 গুণ 2 এটা 4 গুণ 12 122 আৰু এইপিনে কিমান হ'ব 66 হ'ব না 6 4 4 7 5 14 18 19 20 21 22 23 2 3 4 4 8 7 5 2 25 minus 7 7 4 বিয়া নাম্বাৰ পোৱা নাই এতিয়া কাৰণ টাফ আছিলে পেপাৰটো বহুত টাফ আছিলে ইমান সহজ নহয় ইমানো টানো নহয় যেনিবা মিডিয়াম টাফ বুলি ক'ব পাৰি এতিয়া 6 এতিয়া কিমান দেখিলে 9 পৰা 2 এতিয়া কিমান দেখিলে 1 11 পৰা 5 ক'লে 6 দেখিলে এইটো 1 থাকিব ন 11 পৰা 2 গ'লে 9 10 11 okay 96 paisa 96 is a very good mark not marks okay bye bye thank you for watching the video